Tonight, we will walk together on a path of presence and awakening, a journey inward where the noise of the world fades and the truth of this moment becomes clear. Zen Buddhism holds ancient wisdom that can transform how we meet each breath, each sensation, each passing thought, and together we will explore these truths through gentle stories and reflections that speak not to the mind alone, but to the heart that knows what words cannot fully capture. Before we begin, if it feels right in your heart, if the spirit moves you to connect, share with us from which country you are listening tonight and what time it is there right now. From which corner of this vast and beautiful world are you breathing with us in this very moment? What you will find here tonight are invitations to awaken and, at the same time, to rest deeply into the embrace of the present moment. These are fingers pointing at the moon, and the ancient teaching reminds us, do not cling to the finger, see the moon itself. Simple truths that the busy, racing mind overlooks in its constant searching, but truths the quiet heart recognizes immediately, as if remembering something it has always known. We will rest together with ancient stories that reveal more than they explain, stories that work on you in ways the rational mind cannot understand. We will learn to see thoughts as clouds passing through the vast sky of awareness, and while the clouds come and go, change shape and dissolve, the sky remains forever unchanged, forever spacious, forever here. Uncomfortable emotions will be treated not as enemies to fight or problems to solve, but as messengers with lessons to hear, teachers arriving at your door with gifts wrapped in strange paper. Good evening, and welcome. You are so welcome here in this space we create together. This is a space of inner cultivation, a sanctuary of the soul where we come to nourish the mind, awaken the spirit, and remember what we have forgotten in the noise and rush of daily life. Here you can simply be, without doing, without performing, without becoming anything other than what you already are. Breathe, and allow these words to guide you gently inward, deeper than thought, deeper than story, into the stillness that has always been waiting for you. You already carry everything you need for peace, for wholeness, for awakening, and we will simply remember together what lives within you, what has always lived within you, waiting patiently to be recognized. If these words touch something deep tonight, if you feel a resonance, a coming home, return here whenever you need this silent meeting, this refuge from the world. Subscribe to keep this harbor of peace nearby, a lighthouse you can always find when the seas grow rough. Now breathe deeply, let the breath fill you completely, and be present, be here, be home. The present moment is all we ever truly have, and yet this simple truth is perhaps the most difficult to fully realize and embody. The past exists only as memory, as stories we tell ourselves, as images flickering in the mind like an old film. The future exists only as imagination, as projection, as hope or fear, painted on the canvas of what has not yet come. Yet we spend so much of our precious lives anywhere but here, anywhere but now, lost in the labyrinth of yesterday or trapped in the maze of tomorrow. Tonight, we practice the most radical act available to any human being, the act of being fully alive in this breath, this heartbeat, this single eternal now that is always arriving fresh, always offering itself new. This is not escape from life. This is not avoidance or spiritual bypassing. This is finally, truly, deeply arriving at life itself. Settle into your resting place now. Let your body find its natural position of comfort and release. Feel the weight of your body sinking down into the surface beneath you, supported completely, held without effort. Feel the weight of this entire day beginning to release from your shoulders, from your jaw where you have been clenching without knowing, from your hands that have been gripping and doing and accomplishing. There is nothing you need to do right now. nowhere you need to go, no one you need to be. This moment, exactly as it is enough. You, exactly as you are enough. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, feeling the cool air enter, feeling your chest expand, and as you release it, let something go, some tension, some holding, some piece of the day you have been carrying. Another breath now, deeper still, and soften a little more, melting into this moment, arriving here, coming home to your body, to your breath, to now. The stories ahead will carry you deeper into rest and deeper into wisdom. Each tale a vehicle for transformation, each teaching a doorway opening onto peace and presence. As we move through this night together, allow yourself to receive what is offered without effort or strain, without trying to understand or remember or do anything with what you hear. Let the words wash over you like gentle waves on a quiet shore, rhythmic and soothing, and when you are ready, when the body calls for it in its own perfect timing, let yourself drift into the deep rest that awaits you beyond thought, beyond effort, beyond everything but peace. We begin now, together, walking this path of awakening into rest, of presence dissolving into sleep, of consciousness meeting the mystery of letting go, the monk and the river that never stops. Nothing remains the same. There was once a monk named Kosen who lived in a small temple beside a wide flowing river that carved its way through the valley like a silver ribbon catching the light. Each morning before dawn, when the world was still wrapped in the soft blue darkness before sunrise, he would wrap his robe around him and walk down to the riverbank, sitting on a smooth stone worn by centuries of water, and he would watch the water move past him in its eternal journey toward the sea. The villagers thought this strange, this daily ritual of watching, and they would whisper among themselves as they passed. Why does he watch the same river every single day, they wondered. What could he possibly be learning from water that simply flows? But Kosen knew something they did not, something the river was teaching him each morning in its patient, wordless way. One morning, as the sun began to paint the sky in shades of pink and gold, a young traveler approached him, footsore and curious from his long journey. He had heard of this monk who sat by the river and wanted to understand what kept bringing him back to this same spot, day after day, year after year. Why do you return to this same spot every single day? The traveler asked, genuine curiosity in his voice. Is the river not always the same? Kosen smiled gently, the kind of smile that holds understanding without judgment, and he said, step into the river. The traveler, intrigued by this simple instruction, removed his worn sandals and stepped carefully into the cool water, feeling the current push gently against his legs, the smooth stones beneath his feet. Now step out and step in again, Kosen instructed, his voice calm and patient as the river itself. The traveler did so, stepping back onto the bank and then returning to the water. Is it the same river? Kosen asked. The traveler paused, suddenly paying attention in a way he had not before, and he felt the current against his legs, noticed how the water was different. The temperature had shifted slightly. New leaves floated past that had not been there before. The sound was subtly changed. No, he said quietly, a note of wonder entering his voice. It is not the same at all. This is the teaching of the river, Kosen said, his eyes reflecting the morning light dancing on the water. You can never step into the same river twice, because the river is always changing, always new, always different, even though it appears the same. The water that touched you a moment ago is already far downstream, perhaps already joining the great ocean, and new water has taken its place. The river looks the same from a distance. We give it a name and think we know it, but everything within it has changed, is changing, will always be changing. Your life is like this river, flowing, moving, never still. Each breath is new, born fresh in this moment. Each moment is born and dies in an instant, arising and passing. And you can never return to a moment that has already flowed past. When you try to hold on to what was, you are grasping at water that has already flowed away, reaching for something that no longer exists except as memory, as ghost, as echo. We suffer because we believe in permanence, because something deep in us wants the river to stop flowing, to hold still so we can control it, understand it, keep it. We cling to experiences we loved, moments of joy or peace or connection, hoping desperately that they will stay, that they will not fade, that we can somehow freeze time and live in them forever. We grip tightly to people, to feelings, to versions of ourselves that no longer exist, and we resist when they inevitably change, when they flow away downstream. We resist change as if our resistance could stop the river from flowing, as if our refusal to accept impermanence could somehow make things permanent. But the river does not ask our permission to flow. It does not wait for us to be ready. It simply flows as it always has, as it always will, and so does life, so do you, changing with every breath whether you notice or not. The breath is your river, always here, always now, always changing. Notice it in this moment. This breath that enters your body right now has never existed before in the entire history of the universe. This exact combination of air and moisture and particles, this particular moment of expansion in your lungs, the subtle feeling of your ribs spreading, your belly rising, this will never happen again in exactly this way. Breathe in slowly now and really feel it. Feel the coolness or warmth of the air as it enters your nostrils. Feel your chest rise, your shoulders perhaps lifting slightly. Feel the life entering you, sustaining you, and know that this is unrepeatable. This exact breath exists only now. Now release it. Let it go. That breath is gone, finished, complete. It has joined the river of all past moments, flowing away into what was. And now, breathe again. This is a new breath, different from the last, carrying its own quality, its own texture, its own small miracle of life. This is a new moment, the only moment you actually have. When you anchor your awareness in the breath, when you really feel each breath as it comes and goes, you anchor yourself in the truth of impermanence, in the reality of constant change. You stop fighting the river, exhausting yourself trying to make it hold still. You stop demanding that life freeze in place for your comfort, that people and circumstances remain exactly as they are. Instead, you become like Kosen, sitting peacefully by the water, watching it flow with acceptance and wonder, knowing that change is not the problem, change is not the enemy. Resistance to change is the problem, the clinging to what is already gone, the refusal to meet this new moment on its own terms. But the river teaches us that we can flow too, that we can move with life instead of against it, that we can embrace each moment as it comes, fully and completely, and then release it when it passes, making room for the next moment to arrive. Zen master Shunryu Suzuki Roshi once said, and these words carry the weight of deep realization: everything changes, nothing remains the same. When you truly understand this, when you feel it not just in your head, but in your bones, you can appreciate each moment as the unrepeatable gift it is, as the small miracle it truly is. The flower does not grieve that it will wilt. It does not spend its days worrying about its inevitable fading. The sunset does not cling to the sky, trying desperately to remain, refusing to let night come. They offer their beauty fully, completely, holding nothing back, knowing they are temporary, and this very impermanence makes them even more precious, even more worth witnessing, even more cause for wonder and gratitude. Let your body soften now as you breathe. Let it release and relax. Notice any places where you are holding tension, places where you are unconsciously trying to control, trying to keep things as they are, trying to stop the flow. Perhaps your shoulders are tight, perhaps your jaw is clenched, perhaps your belly is held. Breathe into those places. Send your awareness there with kindness. With each exhale, practice letting go, surrendering, allowing. You do not need to hold the river in place. You cannot hold it even if you try. You can simply flow with it, trust it, be part of its great movement toward the sea. You can be present to what is here now, breathing with it, feeling it fully, knowing it will change. And that is not something to fear. That is simply the nature of being alive, the beautiful, poignant, precious nature of existence itself. Close your eyes now if they are not already closed, and let yourself relax even more deeply. Imagine you are sitting beside Kosen at the river, the morning light warm on your face. The water moves gently past you, sparkling and alive. You do not try to stop it or redirect it. You do not try to bring back the water that has already passed. You simply sit, present and aware, breathing and watching. Each breath is the river flowing through you. Each heartbeat is the current moving in your chest. You are not separate from this flow. You are not observing it from outside. You are the flow itself, always changing, always new, always here. As we continue deeper into the night, deeper into rest, carry this teaching with you like a smooth stone in your pocket. When a thought arises about yesterday or tomorrow, about what was or what might be, remember the river. Return to the breath. Return to now. This moment is the only water you can ever touch, the only river you can ever step into. Be here, fully here. Feel it. This aliveness, this constant change, this eternal now. Let everything else flow, and flow with it. The empty bowl of the Master. Let go to receive. In a monastery, high in the mountains where the air was thin and clear and the silence was so deep you could hear your own heartbeat, there lived a master named Soen and a young disciple named Takumi who had come seeking wisdom and peace. Takumi arrived at the monastery carrying a large wooden bowl, heavy and worn smooth by years of use. And in this bowl, he kept everything he thought mattered, everything he thought defined him. Memories of his childhood, both sweet and bitter, the time his father praised him and the time his mother turned away. Regrets from last year, arguments he had lost, moments he wished desperately he could change or take back, words he had spoken in anger, opportunities he had missed. The bowl was so full, overflowing with the weight of the past, that Takumi struggled to carry it everywhere he went, his arms aching with the constant burden, his back bent under the accumulated weight of all these years. One day, as autumn leaves fell like golden rain outside the meditation hall, Soen invited Takumi to sit with him for tea, a simple ceremony of presence and connection. The master prepared fresh green tea with careful, deliberate movements, each gesture a meditation, and when it was ready, he lifted the ceramic pot to pour the steaming tea into Takumi's bowl. But the bowl was so full of all those old things, all those memories and regrets and stories, that there was no room, not even a drop of space for the tea. It spilled over the edges immediately, running down the sides in little rivers, wasting onto the floor, the precious tea lost. Soen stopped pouring and looked at Takumi with kind eyes, eyes that saw everything and judged nothing. "How can I offer you tea when your bowl is already full?" he asked gently. "How can you receive anything new when there is no space to receive it?" Takumi looked down at his bowl, really seeing it perhaps for the first time, at all the things he had been carrying for so long, some of them for decades. "But master," he said, his voice tight with confusion and a little fear. These are important. These are my experiences, my lessons, my story. This is who I am. If I empty the bowl, will I not lose myself? Will I not become nothing, nobody, without a past, without an identity? Sowen smiled, the gentle smile of someone who has walked this path and knows what lies on the other side of letting go. You will not lose yourself, he said. You will find yourself. The past is not happening now. Can you feel that? Those moments are finished, complete, gone. By carrying them in your bowl, by giving them all your attention and energy, you prevent this moment from filling you. You make yourself unavailable for the new tea that is being offered right now, in this breath, in this meeting, in this precious and unrepeatable present moment. This is one of the deepest truths of presence, and it is a truth that can liberate you if you allow it. The past exists only in your mind as memory, as thought, as story you tell yourself. It is not here in any real sense. It is not now. It is not tangible or present or alive. When you replay old conversations in your mind like worn recordings, when you hold on to old pain as if it is happening right now, when you carry regret like stones in your pockets weighing you down with every step, you are choosing, consciously or unconsciously, to live in a time that no longer exists anywhere except in thought. And because your attention is trapped in yesterday, caught in the web of what was, you cannot receive today. You cannot taste the tea being poured. You cannot feel the warmth of this moment. You cannot meet life as it actually is, only as you remember it was, or fear it might become. Notice now, in this very moment, if you are carrying anything in your bowl that does not belong to now. Are there thoughts of earlier today, things you wish you had said differently or done better, conversations you are replaying and editing in your mind? Are there memories from years ago that still pull at you with invisible threads, asking for your attention, demanding that you revisit them one more time as if this time you might finally resolve them or understand them or make peace with them? These thoughts, these memories, these regrets and sorrows, and even cherished moments, they are like items filling your bowl. And as long as they remain, taking up all the space, there is no room for this breath, for this rest, for this peace that is available and being offered to you right now, freely, without condition. Let us practice emptying the bowl together, right now, in this moment of choice and possibility. Take a slow, deep breath in, filling your lungs completely, and as you breathe out, long and slow, imagine setting down one thing you have been carrying from the past. It might be a conversation that went wrong, a mistake you made, a moment of embarrassment or pain that you have replayed 1,000 times. You do not need to fix it, or understand it, or make it okay. You cannot change what has already happened. Simply set it down, like placing a heavy stone beside the path, acknowledging it was there, but choosing not to carry it further. Breathe in again, fresh air, new moment. Breathe out and set down another piece of the past, another weight, another story. Feel your bowl becoming lighter, emptier, more spacious, more ready to receive. This is not forgetting. This is not pretending the past did not happen. This is choosing to stop letting the past consume the present. Zen master Shunryu Suzuki Roshi taught us about what he called beginner's mind. And he said these words that hold such profound wisdom. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. When your bowl is empty, when you release the accumulated knowledge and stories and identities, you have beginner's mind. You meet this moment fresh, without the weight of all your accumulated stories about how things should be or how they have always been. You become available for surprise, for wonder, for the tea that is being poured right now, for life as it actually is, rather than as you remember it or expect it to be. You become like a child again, open and curious, and ready to be amazed. Emptying the bowl does not mean forgetting who you are or denying that your past happened or pretending that painful things were not painful. It means you stop letting the past take up the space that is meant for the present. You honor what was, you acknowledge the journey that brought you here, and then you release it with gratitude and grace. You say, with kindness to yourself, that was then, and it shaped me, and now I let it rest. This is now, and this is where I choose to be. And you turn your full attention, your full presence, your full capacity to receive, to what is alive in this moment, what is actually here, rather than what you are remembering or imagining. Feel your body now, this body that is here, not in the past, not in memory, but here. These hands, real and warm and alive. This breath, moving in and out, sustaining you right now. This heartbeat, steady and faithful, continuing its rhythm. They exist only now. Let your awareness rest fully in the sensations that are present, that are actually happening. The weight of your head on the pillow, heavy and relaxed. The temperature of the air on your skin, cool or warm. The gentle rise and fall of your belly as you breathe, soft and rhythmic. This is the tea being poured. This is what fills an empty bowl. This is life, offering itself to you, moment by moment, breath by breath. As we move forward through the night, through these teachings and stories, practice noticing when your mind reaches back for something old, when it tries to fill the bowl again with what has already been. When it does, and it will, because this is the habit of mind, gently remind yourself with compassion, my bowl is empty now. I am here now. There is room for this moment to fill me. This is the practice of presence, simple but not easy, returning again and again to now. This is how we come home to our lives, how we finally arrive where we have always been. The gardener and the invisible seeds. Trust the process. There was once a gardener named Hana who tended a small plot of land behind a temple, a sacred space where vegetables grew to feed the monks and flowers bloomed to remind everyone of beauty and impermanence. Each spring, when the earth softened and warmed, she would plant seeds with great care, pressing them gently into the dark, rich soil with her fingers, covering them like tucking children into bed, watering them with attention, speaking softly to the earth as if it could hear her prayers and intentions. But Hana had a problem that kept her from experiencing peace, a problem that lived in her mind and stole her joy. She could not stop thinking about the harvest, about the end result, about what would come months from now. Even as she planted, her mind raced ahead to autumn, to the moment of reaping. Will there be enough, she worried? Will the vegetables be large and beautiful and abundant? What if the seeds do not grow? What if I did something wrong? What if the weather does not cooperate? What if I fail? Every single day, Hana would walk through her garden, staring at the soil with worried eyes, willing the seeds to sprout faster, commanding them silently to grow, to prove themselves, to show her she had not wasted her time. She would dig small holes with her fingers to check if the roots had started, disturbing the delicate process of germination, unable to trust what she could not see. She would measure the tiny shoots when they finally appeared with her fingers, comparing them obsessively to last year's growth, worrying they were too small, too slow, not thriving the way they should. Her teacher, an old nun named Eiko, who moved with the slowness of deep wisdom, watched this anxious tending with quiet concern, seeing how Hana was suffering even in the midst of growth and beauty. One morning, when mist still clung to the ground and the garden was silver with dew, Eiko sat beside Hana on the earth, her old bones creaking as she lowered herself down. "You are so busy looking for the harvest," she said gently, "that you are missing the planting." Hana frowned, her face tight with confusion and defensiveness. "But I must think ahead," she protested. "I must plan. I must make sure everything will turn out well. This is responsibility. This is how things get done." Aiko shook her head slowly, her weathered face calm. "Planning is wise," but you are not planning. You are abandoning this moment to live in an imagined future that does not exist and may never exist the way you imagine. You are not here with the seeds, with your hands in the soil, with the smell of the earth and the feeling of the sun. You are months away, in a time that is not real, worrying about things that have not happened. And so you are nowhere, neither here nor there, never arriving anywhere at all. This is the suffering of the future-focused mind, and it is a suffering so common we think it is normal, even necessary. We plant seeds, but we cannot enjoy the planting, cannot feel the satisfaction of hands in earth, because we are already worrying about the harvest. We eat a meal, but we do not taste it, do not experience the flavors and textures, because we are thinking about the next meal, or about our diet, or about something completely unrelated. We are with a loved one, sitting right beside them, but we do not feel their presence, do not really see their face or hear their voice, because we are wondering when we will see them again, or worrying about the relationship, or lost in our own thoughts about something else entirely. We are always ahead of ourselves, leaning into a future that has not arrived, and so we are never truly anywhere, never fully present, never really alive. The future is not real in any tangible sense. It is a story we tell ourselves, a projection we make based on past experience and present fear, a hope or a worry that we treat as if it were fact. When you live in the future, when you spend your precious present moments mentally residing in tomorrow or next week or next year, you live in fantasy, in imagination, in something that does not exist. You abandon the only moment in which you can actually plant, water, tend, love, act, and experience life. This moment, right now, this breath, this sensation, the seed in your hand is real. The soil beneath your fingers is real. The sun on your back is real. This is where life happens, not in your thoughts about what might happen, but in what is actually happening right now. Bring your attention to your breath in this moment and let it be an anchor to now. Do not think about the next 10 breaths, or wonder how long this practice will take, or worry about whether you are doing it right. Feel this single breath, just this one, the air entering your nose or mouth, cool or warm, dry or moist. The slight pause at the top of the inhale, that moment of suspension. The gentle release of the exhale, the softening and letting go. This breath is the seed you are planting. This breath is your participation in life right now. You do not need to know what will grow from it. You do not need to see the outcome. You simply need to be here for it, to feel it, to honor it with your presence. Future thinking often disguises itself as responsibility, as mature adult behavior, as the only way to function in the world. We tell ourselves we must worry, we must plan constantly, we must always be preparing, or everything will fall apart and it will be our fault. But there is a profound difference between wise preparation and mental absence, between planning that happens in the present and worry that steals the present. Wise preparation happens now. You plant the seed now, in this moment, with attention. You water the garden now when it needs water, not constantly in your mind. But worry is not preparation. Worry is not planning. Worry is leaving now to suffer in an imaginary future, exhausting yourself with scenarios that may never happen. Thich Nhat Hanh teaches us with such beautiful clarity, the present moment is the only moment available to us, and it is the door to all moments. When you are fully present now, when you bring your whole attention to what is actually here, you act with clarity and wisdom. You make better choices because you can see clearly what is actually needed, not what fear tells you might be needed or what past experience tells you should be needed. You respond to reality rather than to imagination. Presence is not passive or irresponsible. Presence is actually the most powerful and effective place from which to live your life, to make decisions, to take action. Let your body relax a little more as you breathe, releasing unnecessary tension. Notice if there is tightness in your forehead, small lines of worry etched between your eyebrows. Notice your shoulders. Are they raised toward your ears, bracing for some imagined future impact? Notice your belly. Are you holding it tight, armoring yourself? Often, this physical tension comes directly from future-focused thinking, from bracing for what might happen, from holding yourself ready for disasters that exist only in imagination. Breathe into that tension now. Bring your awareness to it with kindness. As you exhale, let your body remember that the future is not here yet, that it is not happening now. You do not need to hold yourself ready for something that is not occurring. You can soften. You can be here. You are safe in this moment. Hannah eventually learned, through patient teaching and her own growing awareness, to tend her garden with full attention rather than anxious projection. She learned to feel the texture of the soil between her fingers, dark and crumbly and alive. She listened to the birds singing their morning songs. She noticed the way the light changed throughout the day, golden at dawn, bright at noon, soft and slanting in the evening. And when autumn finally came, the harvest was abundant, more than enough, overflowing with life. But more importantly, infinitely more importantly, Hannah had lived through the spring and summer. She had been present for the journey, not just waiting impatiently for the destination. She had experienced her life instead of postponing it until some future moment of completion. Tonight, as you rest here, practice being the gardener who is fully here now, not the one who is always somewhere else worrying. When your mind reaches forward, and it will because this is what minds do, wondering about tomorrow, or next week, or next year, gently guide it back with compassion. This breath, this moment, this is the only seed you ever need to tend. Everything else will unfold in its own perfect timing, and you do not need to control or force or worry it into being. For now, be here. Trust the process. Let yourself rest in the eternal now, where nothing is missing and everything is exactly as it should be. Clouds in the sky of consciousness. You are not your thoughts. There was a young girl named Yuki who lived in a small village nestled at the foot of a great mountain, its peak disappearing into the clouds like a finger pointing to heaven. Yuki loved to lie in the meadow behind her house, on the soft grass that smelled of summer and earth, and watch the clouds drift across the vast blue sky above her. She could spend hours there, lost in the beauty of it, watching shapes form and dissolve. One afternoon, when the air was warm and butterflies danced among the wildflowers, her grandmother came and sat beside her slowly, her old joints protesting, and asked with genuine curiosity, "What do you see, little one?" Yuki pointed upward without taking her eyes from the sky, her finger tracing shapes. "I see a dragon," she said with wonder. Now a horse with a flowing mane, now a mountain of its own, now something I cannot name. Her grandmother smiled, the kind of smile that holds understanding earned through decades of living and watching. "And what happens to these shapes?" she asked. "They change," Yuki said, her voice carrying the slight disappointment of impermanence. "They drift away on the wind. They become something else entirely, or disappear completely, dissolving into nothing." Her grandmother nodded slowly, her weathered hand resting on the grass beside her. "And what about the sky itself?" she asked, her voice soft but carrying a teaching. "Does the sky change with the clouds?" Yuki looked up more carefully now, really seeing for the first time. She watched a large cloud pass, casting shadow, then move on, revealing brightness again. "No," she said slowly, realization dawning in her young voice. "The sky stays. It is always there, always blue and vast, even when the clouds cover it completely and we cannot see it." Her grandmother reached over and touched Yuki's heart gently, her palm warm through the thin fabric. "You are the sky," she said with quiet intensity. "Your thoughts are the clouds. Remember this always. This teaching is at the very heart of presence, at the very core of liberation, and if you can truly understand it, not just intellectually, but in your lived experience, it will change everything. You are not your thoughts. You are not the contents of your mind. Thoughts arise in the space of your awareness, like clouds arising in the sky. They move through this space like clouds drifting on the wind, and they dissolve back into nothing, like clouds disappearing at sunset. But you, the awareness itself, the consciousness that witnesses the thoughts, you remain. The sky is never damaged by the clouds that pass through it. It is never made dirty by storm clouds or broken by lightning or diminished by fog. It simply holds space, vast and unchanging, for whatever appears and disappears. You are this sky, this spacious awareness, not the changing weather of your mind. We suffer tremendously because we identify with the clouds instead of recognizing ourselves as the sky. A worried thought appears in awareness, and immediately, without even noticing we are doing it, we say "I am worried," collapsing our entire identity into this one passing mental event. An angry thought arises, hot and sharp, and we say "I am angry," as if anger is what we are rather than something we are experiencing. A sad thought drifts by, heavy and grey, and we say "I am sad," forgetting that sadness is weather passing through, not the sky itself. But this identification is not true. It is a case of mistaken identity. You are not the worry. You are the awareness that notices worry is present. You are not the anger. You are the consciousness in which anger appears. You are not the sadness. You are the vast space that holds sadness without being changed by it. You are the sky, eternal and unchanging, watching the weather of the mind. Right now, in this very moment, notice your thoughts without trying to control or change them. Do not push them away or judge them or try to make them stop. That is just more weather, more clouds. Simply observe with kind curiosity. A thought appears. Maybe it is about something you need to do tomorrow, some task or responsibility. Watch it arise in the space of your awareness. Maybe another thought comes, a memory from earlier today, something someone said or something you did. Watch that one too. Maybe there is a judgment about this practice itself, a thought saying, "This is not working," or "I am doing it wrong," or "I should be feeling something different." Notice that thought as well. You are not these thoughts. You are the one witnessing them, the space in which they appear, the sky in which these clouds arise and pass. This practice is called mindfulness of thinking, and it is one of the most liberating practices available to human beings. You do not push thoughts away, creating a battle, creating more clouds of resistance. You do not cling to them, trying to keep the pleasant ones or think them through to resolution. You simply name them gently, creating space between the awareness and the content of awareness. Thought, memory, planning, worry, judging, fantasizing. By naming them this way, softly and without judgment, you create a gap a little bit of space between you as the witness and the thought itself. You remember that you are the sky, not the cloud. And this simple remembering, this small shift in perspective, changes everything about your relationship with your own mind. The Buddha taught, and this teaching has echoed through centuries, that clinging and aversion are the two roots of all suffering. When we cling to pleasant thoughts, trying desperately to keep them, replaying them, chasing after the feeling they give us, we suffer when they inevitably fade, as all thoughts do. When we push away unpleasant thoughts with aversion, resisting them, fighting them, trying to make them stop, we suffer because resistance actually strengthens them, gives them power, keeps them circulating. But when we observe thoughts as passing phenomena, when we see them as clouds moving through the sky, neither grasping nor rejecting them, neither clinging nor resisting, we are free. We rest as the sky itself, spacious and allowing, holding all things lightly, attached to nothing. Let your body soften now as you practice this. Let it be as relaxed and open as the sky itself. Notice your breath moving in and out, steady and patient like the sky that holds clouds, never struggling, never forcing, simply being. As you breathe, thoughts will come, and this is completely natural, completely normal. The mind produces thoughts like the heart produces beats, automatically, continuously, and there is nothing wrong with this. Do not see the arising of thoughts as failure or as a problem to solve. Simply notice each time, there is a thought. Let it pass like a cloud drifting. Return to the breath, which is always here, always now, like the sky is always here beneath the weather. Imagine yourself now as vast open space, unlimited and free. Thoughts drift through you like clouds, but they do not define you, do not limit you, do not stick to you. Emotions arise like weather patterns, storms and sunshine, but they do not mark you, do not change your essential nature. You are spacious, you are still. You are the unchanging awareness in which all experience happens, all thoughts and feelings and sensations. This is your true nature, who you really are beneath all the stories and identities. This is what has always been here, always will be here, beneath all the noise and movement of the mind. As we move through the night together, deeper into rest and peace, practice this again and again with infinite patience. When you notice you are lost in thought, completely tangled in a cloud, believing you are the cloud, simply recognize it without judgment. I am aware of thinking. This simple recognition, this moment of stepping back into the witness, is the return to the sky. This recognition is presence itself. You do not need to be perfect at this. You do not need to have a clear, empty sky with no clouds. You only need to remember again and again, with gentleness and compassion for yourself, I am the sky, not the clouds. The clouds will take care of themselves, arising and passing according to their nature. You remain always here, always now, always free. The fisherman who forgot to fish, wake up to what is here. In a quiet coastal village where the sea met the land in gentle whispers and the smell of salt hung always in the air, there lived a fisherman named Daiichi, whose family had fished these waters for generations. Every morning, before the sun painted the horizon, Daiichi would take his small wooden boat out onto the calm water, the oars creaking rhythmically, cast his net with practiced movements, and wait in what should have been peaceful solitude. But Daiichi had a busy mind, a mind that could not rest, that was always somewhere else, never where his body was. As he sat in his boat, gently rocking on the waves, he was rarely present, rarely truly there. He thought about the argument he had with his brother last week, replaying the words, composing better responses, nursing his anger. He worried constantly about whether the winter would be harsh, whether there would be enough fish, whether his boat would last another season. He replayed conversations from years ago, imagined future problems that might never come, and drifted far, far away from the boat, from the water, from the sky, from his actual life. One morning, when the water was particularly alive and silver fish were jumping everywhere, an old woman who also fished nearby paddled her boat close to his and called out, her voice cutting through his mental fog. "Daiichi," she said, loud enough to startle him from his thoughts. "The fish are jumping all around your boat." Daiichi looked up, pulled suddenly back to the present moment, and his eyes went wide with surprise. Indeed, the water all around him was alive with silver fish leaping and flashing in the early morning sunlight, their scales catching the light like diamonds, splashing back into the water, more abundant than he had seen in months. But his net, he realized with a sinking feeling, was not in the water. It sat coiled in the bottom of the boat where he had forgotten it. He had been so completely lost in thought, so totally absent from this moment, that he had forgotten the very purpose of being here. "How long have they been here?" he asked, his voice small with embarrassment and loss. She smiled, not unkindly, understanding his suffering because she had once suffered it herself. "They have been here the whole time," she said, "but you were somewhere else, living in your head while life happened around you. This is the condition of most human beings most of the time, and it is worth really taking this in, really feeling the poignancy of it. We are surrounded by life, by beauty, by opportunity, by connection, by the sacred ordinary, but we are not present for any of it. We sit at meals, food prepared with care, and we do not taste it, not really, because we are scrolling through phones or thinking about work or replaying arguments. We walk through forests, trees reaching towards sky, birds singing, but we do not see or hear any of it because we are lost in thought, in worry, in the endless churning of the mind. We are with people we love, people who will not be here forever, and we do not feel their presence, do not really look at their faces or listen to their words because we are distracted, elsewhere, absent. We are ghosts in our own lives, haunting them but not living them, surrounded by the miraculous but blind to it. Automaticity is the thief of life, the silent robber that steals our days while we are not paying attention. When we move through our days on autopilot, repeating patterns and habits without awareness, functioning but not living, we are essentially asleep, even though our eyes are open. We brush our teeth while planning the entire day ahead, already living in a future that does not exist yet. We shower while reviewing yesterday, replaying what we should have done differently, suffering over what is already finished. We eat breakfast while scrolling, filling our mind with news and noise, never tasting a single bite. We drive familiar routes with no memory of the journey, arriving at destinations with no recollection of how we got there. We are never where our body is, and so we miss everything. The fish are jumping, abundant and available, but we do not see them because we are not here. Bring your attention fully to your hands right now and really do this, really feel it. Feel them as if you're feeling hands for the very first time. Are they warm or cool? Are they resting on something soft or firm, rough or smooth? Can you feel the texture beneath your fingertips? The tiny ridges and patterns? Can you feel the life in them? The subtle pulse of blood? The tingling of nerve endings? This is presence. This simple awareness of what is actually here. This is waking up to your life. Your hands have been here the entire time you have been listening, but perhaps you were not aware of them until this moment. Perhaps they were invisible to you. This is what we practice, this coming back, this noticing what is actually here instead of living in the abstractions and projections of the mind. Now bring your awareness to your feet and again, really feel them. Give them your full attention as if they matter, because they do. Feel them wherever they are, whatever position they are in. Feel the weight, the temperature, any sensation of contact or pressure, the aliveness in them. Your feet are part of this moment, not part of the past or future, but here now. They are holding you, supporting you, connecting you to the earth, even as your mind may have been miles or years away. Thank them silently, with genuine gratitude. This body is your anchor to presence, to reality, to now. It is always in the present moment, always here. When the mind wanders into past or future, when it gets lost in the maze of thought, the body calls you home, always patient, always waiting, always here. Thich Nhat Hanh teaches with such beautiful simplicity, and these words deserve to be taken deeply into your heart. The present moment is the only time over which we have dominion. The past is gone, finished, existing only as memory, as thought, as story. The future is not yet here, existing only as imagination, as projection, as fantasy. But this breath, happening right now, this step you are taking, this bite of food in your mouth, this moment of contact with another being, this is where life is actually happening. This is where love lives and is expressed. This is where peace is found, not later, not somewhere else, not after you fix everything or achieve everything or become someone different. Here, in this messy, ordinary, miraculous now, Daiichi learned his lesson that morning, learned it in a way that teaching could not have reached him. He began to practice presence, not perfectly, but sincerely, again and again, choosing to come back. When he cast his net, he felt the weight of the rope in his hands, the texture of it, rough and wet. He listened to the sound of the water against the wooden hull of his boat, that particular lapping rhythm. He watched the light change on the surface of the sea, silver to gold to blue. He smelled the salt air, sharp and clean, filling his lungs. He was there, fully there, in his life, in his body, in this moment. And an interesting thing happened. The fish came, more than before, consistent and abundant. Not because he tried harder or used different techniques, but because he was present to receive them, present to notice them, present to act in right timing. Tonight, as you rest here, practice waking up to the simple sensations of this moment, the sensations that are always here, always available, always offering themselves. The feeling of the pillow beneath your head, supporting you, the air moving slowly in and out of your lungs, keeping you alive, the weight of your body surrendering to gravity and rest, letting go. These are not small things or insignificant details. These are the substance of your life, the actual texture of being alive. When you are present to them, really here for them, you are rich beyond any measure. You do not need anything else to be complete. Let go completely of the need to be anywhere else or any time else, past or future. The fish are here, jumping all around you. The beauty is here, surrounding you. The peace is here, inside you. You do not need to chase it or work for it or earn it. You only need to stop, to breathe, to notice, to arrive where you already are. This moment is enough, more than enough. You are enough, exactly as you are. Everything you need to be whole is already present, already here. Open your eyes, not your physical eyes, but the eyes of your awareness, the eyes that really see what is here, feel what is here, be here, fully, completely. This is the practice, simple and profound. This is the path that leads nowhere because you are already home. This is your life, precious and unrepeatable, waiting patiently for you to finally arrive. The warrior and the gate of now. Acceptance opens all doors. There was once a warrior named Amara who had traveled far across mountains and valleys, through forests and deserts, seeking a temple that was said to hold the greatest wisdom in all the land. Wisdom that could answer the deepest questions of existence and bring lasting peace to the troubled heart. When she finally arrived after months of difficult journey, exhausted and hopeful, she found something unexpected and confusing. There was a single gate standing alone in an open field, tall and ornate and ancient. There were no walls around it, no temple behind it, no buildings or structures of any kind, just this gate standing by itself under the vast sky. Confused and feeling perhaps deceived, she approached cautiously and tried to push the gate open, expecting it to swing easily since there were no walls to support it. But it would not move, would not budge even slightly. She pushed harder, throwing her full strength against it, the strength she had developed through years of training and discipline. Still, it remained closed, immovable, as if made of stone rather than wood. A monk sat nearby under a gnarled old tree, watching her struggle with patient, knowing eyes. "Why will this gate not open?" Amara demanded, frustration and anger rising in her voice. "I have traveled so far, sacrificed so much, climbed mountains and crossed rivers. I have earned the right to enter, the right to receive what I came for." The monk smiled gently, compassion in his weathered face. "You are fighting the gate," he said simply. "The gate does not respond to force, to struggle, to demands or deservingness." Amara, her warrior training telling her that effort and strength solve all problems, pushed again and again until her arms ached deeply and sweat dripped from her brow onto the dusty ground. She pushed until her muscles trembled and her breath came in ragged gasps. Finally, completely exhausted, all her energy spent, she collapsed on the ground beside the gate. "I give up," she whispered, and there were tears in her voice, tears of defeat and surrender. The moment she surrendered, the very instant she stopped resisting and fighting and trying to force her way through, the gate swung open silently on its ancient hinges, as if it had never been closed at all, as if it had been waiting all along for this moment of release. Amara stared in complete disbelief, shock replacing her exhaustion. "How did that happen?" she asked, her voice small and confused. "What magic is this?" The monk rose slowly from his seat under the tree and walked to her with the unhurried grace of someone who has all the time in the world. "The gate is called now," he said, his voice gentle but carrying profound teaching. "It only opens when you stop fighting what is, when you cease your struggle against reality. You were so busy trying to force your way through, so consumed with pushing and demanding and insisting, that you did not notice the gate was never locked. You only needed to stop pushing and allow it to open. You only needed to accept rather than resist. This is one of the most profound teachings of presence, and it is a teaching that can liberate you from immense suffering if you truly understand it and embody it in your life. Resistance keeps us locked out of the present moment, keeps us banging against the gate while it remains closed. When we fight against what is, when we say internally or aloud this should not be happening, when we demand that reality be different than it actually is, when we refuse to accept what is already here, we create tremendous suffering for ourselves. We exhaust ourselves pushing against a gate that would open easily if we simply stopped struggling, if we simply allowed, if we simply accepted what is. What are you resisting right now in this very moment? Take a moment to notice, to bring awareness to the subtle or not so subtle ways you are fighting with reality. Perhaps you are resisting tiredness, wishing desperately that you could fall asleep faster, creating tension around the very rest you seek. Perhaps you are resisting a thought or emotion that keeps arising, trying to push it away, make it stop, banish it from your awareness. Perhaps you are resisting discomfort in your body, tension in your shoulders or back, restlessness in your legs, wishing your body would just relax and cooperate. Notice the resistance itself. Feel how it manifests as tightness, how it creates a battle inside you, how it divides you against yourself. This battle is optional. It is not necessary. It is not helping. It is the closed gate. Acceptance does not mean giving up on growth or change, does not mean you become passive or stop caring or approve of everything. Acceptance does not mean you like what is happening or that you would not prefer something different. Acceptance simply means you stop arguing with reality about what is already true. You acknowledge what is actually here right now, without the layer of resistance and rejection. You say, perhaps with a deep breath and a softening, "This is what is here in this moment. I do not have to like it. I do not have to want it to stay, but I can stop fighting it. I can let it be here without making it my enemy." This simple shift, from resistance to acceptance, from fighting to allowing, is the gate swinging open. It is the doorway to peace. Pema Chodron teaches with such wisdom born from deep practice, the most fundamental aggression to ourselves, the most basic violence we commit against our own being, is to remain ignorant by not having the courage to look at ourselves honestly and gently. When we resist what is present in our experience, when we turn away from difficult thoughts or feelings or sensations, we are essentially saying this part of my experience is not allowed. This part of me is not acceptable. But everything that arises in your awareness, every thought and feeling and sensation, is part of this moment, is part of being human, and it has a right to be here. It is here that is already true, and no amount of resistance will change that. When you allow it, when you breathe with it instead of against it, when you meet it with acceptance instead of rejection, you discover it is not your enemy. It is just weather passing through, clouds in the sky of your awareness, and you are vast enough to hold it all. Take a breath now, a deep conscious breath, and soften your resistance wherever you find it. If there is tiredness present, let yourself be tired. Stop fighting the tiredness. If there is a busy mind, let the mind be busy. Stop demanding that it be quiet. If there is discomfort somewhere in your body, let it be uncomfortable. Stop trying to immediately fix or change it. You do not have to make anything different right now. Simply allow what is here to be here. Say silently and with kindness to yourself, "This is here. I see it. I allow this. I am not fighting." Feel the relief that comes, like setting down a heavy weight, when you stop pushing against the gate, when you stop exhausting yourself in resistance. Acceptance is not passive weakness. It is actually profoundly active strength. It takes real courage to stop fighting, more courage sometimes than continuing to fight. It takes genuine strength to be gentle with yourself, to allow your experience rather than war against it. It takes deep wisdom to recognize that the present moment, exactly as it is, with all its imperfections and difficulties, is the only doorway to peace. You cannot force your way into peace through violence against yourself. You can only allow peace by accepting what is, by opening the gate through surrender rather than struggle. As Amara walked through the gate that morning, passing through the doorway she had been fighting so hard to force open, she found no grand temple on the other side, no treasure chest of secrets, no ancient scrolls with mystical teachings written in gold. She found only an open field, simple and plain, with the vast sky above and the solid earth beneath her feet. The monk followed her through and smiled at her confusion. "This is the wisdom you traveled so far to find," he said. "There is nowhere to go beyond here. There is nothing to achieve beyond now. There is only this. this moment, exactly as it is. When you stop fighting, when you stop demanding that life be different, you are already home. You have arrived. Breathe into this truth tonight. Let it settle into your bones. Let the gate of now open for you through the power of acceptance and allowing. The weaver and the golden thread, the sacred, is already here. In a small mountain village, where mist clung to the valleys each morning and the air was thin and clear, there lived a weaver named Kenji who was skilled at his ancient craft, his hands knowing the patterns passed down through generations. But despite his skill, despite the beauty he could create, Kenji was never satisfied, never at peace, always feeling that something was missing. He had heard stories from traveling merchants about a golden thread, rare and precious and mystical, that only the most enlightened weavers, the true masters, could find. This thread, it was said with hushed reverence, could create cloth so beautiful it would shimmer like sunlight dancing on water, so extraordinary that kings would weep at the sight of it. Kenji became obsessed with finding this thread, his mind consumed with the search, believing that only when he found it could he create truly worthy work, could he finally be the weaver he was meant to be. Years passed in this searching, years that could have been spent creating and living, but were instead spent chasing a fantasy. Kenji traveled to distant markets in far cities, asked every merchant and trader he encountered, searched through every shop and stall, his eyes always scanning, always seeking. Where is the golden thread? He would ask desperately. How do I find it? What must I do to obtain it? But no one could help him. No one had seen this mythical thread, and he returned home again and again empty-handed and increasingly bitter. Meanwhile, his loom sat neglected in his workshop, gathering dust and cobwebs. The ordinary threads, the simple wool and cotton he had always used, materials that had served him well for years, sat untouched and waiting in their baskets while he chased his dream of something extraordinary, something special, something out there that would finally make him enough. One day, when Kenji had nearly given up hope, when despair was settling into his bones, an old woman came to his workshop. She walked slowly, leaning on a gnarled walking stick, her eyes bright and seeing. She looked at the loom covered in dust, the threads waiting patiently in their baskets, the workshop that spoke of abandonment and neglect. "You have forgotten to weave," she said quietly, sadness in her voice at the waste of it. Kenji shook his head bitterly, tasting the bitterness like ash in his mouth. "I am waiting for the golden thread," he explained, trying to make her understand. "Only then can I create something worthy, something that matters, something truly beautiful. I cannot waste my time on ordinary materials." The old woman said nothing for a moment, just looked at him with those seeing eyes. Then she reached into one of his baskets and picked up a simple thread of undyed wool, plain and rough, the kind he had dismissed 1,000 times. She walked to the window where afternoon light was streaming in golden and warm, and she held the thread up to the light. The thread caught the sun and glowed softly, warmly, illuminated from within, beautiful in its simplicity. "This is the golden thread," she said, her voice carrying absolute certainty, holding the ordinary wool as if it were precious. Kenji laughed, a harsh sound with no joy in it. "That is ordinary wool," he said dismissively. "That is what I have always had. Nothing special, nothing valuable, nothing extraordinary." The woman smiled, the smile of someone who understands what he does not yet see. "Exactly," she said, and the word held teaching. "You have been searching desperately for something special, something magical out there somewhere, something you do not yet have, chasing it to the ends of the earth. But the sacred is not somewhere else, not in some distant land or future moment. It is here. It has always been here, right in front of you, waiting patiently to be recognized. You were just looking past it, dismissing it as not good enough, as ordinary, while searching for something extraordinary that does not exist. This is the deep suffering of spiritual seeking, the trap that catches so many sincere seekers, and it is worth understanding clearly. We believe that enlightenment, peace, fulfillment, true happiness, they are somewhere in the future, somewhere else, something we must achieve or attain or earn through great effort. We go on retreats to special places. We read spiritual books searching for the secret. We learn practices and techniques, always searching, always seeking, waiting for the moment when we will finally arrive at awakening, when we will finally be enough. But the Buddha taught something radical, something that the seeking mind resists. You are already whole. You are already complete. You are already awake. You are already home. You have never left. The only thing blocking you from realizing this, from living this truth, is the belief that you are not, the story that something is missing, the seeking itself. Presence is not a destination somewhere ahead of you on a path. It is not something you work toward through years of practice and one day achieve, reaching some finish line. Presence is here, always and only here, right now, in this breath, in this moment of awareness, in this sensation of being alive. The golden thread you seek, the special ingredient that will finally make you worthy or complete or enlightened, is the ordinary miracle of being alive in this moment. The beating of your heart right now, steady and faithful. The sensation of air on your skin, temperature and texture. The sounds around you, near and far, the symphony of the ordinary. This, right here, exactly this, is it. There is nothing more spiritual, nothing more sacred, nothing more enlightened than this present moment lived fully and consciously. Notice the tendency in yourself, because it is in all of us, to postpone life, to wait for some better moment to really live. I will be happy when I finish this project, when I get that promotion, when I find that relationship, when I lose that weight. I will relax when I have more time, when I have more money, when everything is finally in order. I will be at peace when I learn to meditate better, when my mind is quieter, when I am more evolved. These are all ways of saying, I am not enough yet. This moment is not enough yet. Life is not good enough yet. But this is a lie that keeps you forever chasing, forever dissatisfied, forever postponing your own awakening and your own life. Alan Watts said, in words that deserve to be written on your heart, you are under no obligation to be who you were 5 minutes ago. You are not waiting to become someone worthy of presence, someone evolved enough or healed enough or enlightened enough to finally be allowed to be present. You are already here, already now, already complete. The invitation is not to become better so you can then be present. The invitation is to be present exactly as you are right now, with all your imperfections and unfinished business and humanness. This is the golden thread, this willingness to meet life as it is, to be here as you are, without waiting for some future transformation. Let your body relax completely now, every muscle softening, every cell releasing. Stop searching, stop seeking, stop waiting for something better or different or more special. You are already here. This is already it. This moment is already the golden thread. The sounds you hear around you, they are not obstacles to peace or distractions from the real thing. They are the texture of this moment, the music of now. The thoughts in your mind, They are not failures or signs you are doing it wrong. They are the clouds in the sky of awareness, part of the weather, natural and allowed. The sensations in your body, whatever they are, comfort or discomfort, ease or tension, they are not distractions from presence. They are the feeling of being alive, the embodiment of this moment. This is the sacred cloth being woven right now from the golden thread of ordinary existence. Kenji eventually learned, through patient teaching and his own growing awareness, to weave again, to return to his craft with humility and presence. He took the ordinary threads, the same ones that had always been there waiting, and he created beauty, real beauty, honest beauty. Not because the threads changed or suddenly became special, but because he finally saw them, finally valued them, finally brought his full presence and attention to working with what was actually here instead of pining for what was not. His work became extraordinary, sought after, deeply moving to those who saw it. Not because he found something special, but because he brought full presence to the ordinary, transforming it through attention and care and recognition of its inherent value. Tonight, stop searching, stop seeking, stop waiting for a better moment or a quieter mind or a more peaceful state. This moment, as messy and ordinary as it may feel, as far from your idea of enlightenment as it may seem, is the golden thread. This breath, this sensation, this awareness, this is it. Weave with it. Create with it. Be with it. You are not practicing for some future enlightenment, some day when you will finally be present enough. You are enlightened now, in the very act of being present, in the simple choice to be here. This is all there is, and it is everything. Let yourself rest in the profound simplicity and completeness of now, the only moment that has ever existed or ever will exist. Roots in the earth, branches in the wind, the body anchors you. At the edge of an ancient forest where wild things lived and the air smelled of moss and earth and timeless growth, stood a great oak tree that had witnessed centuries pass beneath its branches. For hundreds of years, through countless seasons and cycles, it had weathered fierce storms that tore through the forest, winds that bent smaller trees to breaking, droughts that cracked the earth, and floods that turned the ground to mud. A young monk named Riku would sit beneath this tree to meditate each afternoon, seeking the peace and wisdom he believed existed somewhere beyond his restless, wandering mind. But his mind was always turbulent, always wandering to past and future, always anywhere but here, and he struggled deeply with this, judging himself, feeling like a failure. One day, during a particularly powerful storm, when rain lashed sideways and thunder shook the ground, Riku watched the oak tree closely, studying it with new attention. The branches whipped violently in the wind, bending dramatically, swaying and thrashing, yet the tree remained standing, solid, unmoved at its base. "How do you stay so steady?" Riku asked the tree, shouting over the wind, desperate to understand this mystery of stability in chaos. The tree, of course, did not answer with words, but Riku understood anyway in the way that truth sometimes arrives without language, settling into the bones. The branches could move freely, could bend and sway and dance with the wind, because the roots were deep, anchored firmly in the earth far below the surface. The trunk was solidly planted, grounded, connected to something vast and stable beneath the visible surface. No matter how wild the storm above, no matter how chaotic the surface conditions, the foundation remained unshaken, unmoved, holding everything together. Riku realized in that moment of clarity that this was the teaching he needed, the answer to his struggle. His mind was like the branches, always moving, always swaying, responding to every mental wind that blew through. But his body, this physical form he so often ignored or fought against, was like the roots, like the trunk. His body was always here, always grounded in this moment, always now. When the mind wanders into past or future, when it gets lost in the labyrinth of thought and fantasy and worry, the body calls you home with patient, unwavering presence. The body exists only in the present moment. It cannot be anywhere else, cannot travel through time. It is always and only here now. Your breath is happening now, not in memory or imagination, but in actual present experience. Your heartbeat is now, this rhythm, this pulse of life. The sensation of your skin, the weight of your bones, the temperature of your hands, all of this is anchored completely in now, in presence, in reality. When you bring awareness to the body, when you feel it rather than think about it, you return to presence instantly, automatically, without effort. The body is your tether to reality, your anchor to now. This is why body-based practices are so powerful in meditation and mindfulness, why teachers across traditions emphasize returning to physical sensation again and again. The mind can travel through time effortlessly, can be in yesterday or tomorrow in the blink of a thought, but the body is your constant companion in the present moment. When you feel lost in thought, when you notice you have drifted away from this moment into past or future, into story or fantasy, simply come back to sensation, to the actual felt experience of having a body. Feel your feet, solid and real. Feel your hands alive and present. Feel your breath, the most reliable anchor of all. This is the root, this is the ground, this is the foundation. This is where you belong, where you have always belonged. Let us practice this together now, bringing full awareness to the body from head to toe, a journey of presence through your physical form. Bring your attention gently to the top of your head, the crown, and notice any sensation there. Perhaps warmth from your scalp, perhaps coolness, perhaps tingling or pressure or nothing at all. And all of these are perfectly fine. There is no right sensation to feel, only the practice of noticing. Now let your awareness move slowly, like honey pouring, down to your forehead. Soften any tension you find there, any tightness, any holding. Move to your eyes, feeling them rest in their sockets, and to your cheeks, your jaw. Let each part of your face relax completely as you bring gentle, kind attention to it, like a blessing passing over. Move now to your neck and shoulders, areas where so many of us hold the weight of our thoughts, our worries, our sense of responsibility for things beyond our control. This is where we armor ourselves against an uncertain world. Breathe into your shoulders. Really feel them. As you exhale slowly, imagine the tension melting down your arms like warm wax, draining out through your fingertips, leaving softness behind. Feel your arms resting wherever they are, heavy and relaxed, no effort needed. Notice your hands, these remarkable instruments that have served you all your life. Feel them from the inside, the subtle aliveness, the warmth or coolness, the tingling of sensation. They are here, present, real, alive. Bring your awareness now to your chest, to the center of your being, and feel the rise and fall of your breath. Your chest is like the trunk of the oak tree, expanding and contracting with each breath, steady and rhythmic, reliable and faithful. Feel the life moving through you with each inhale and exhale, the ancient rhythm that has sustained you since your first breath and will sustain you until your last. Move your attention to your belly, soft and relaxed. Let it be completely soft, No need to hold it tight or suck it in. Breathe deeply into your belly and feel it rise like a gentle wave. Exhale and feel it fall. This is your center, your stability, your ground. Now feel your hips, solid and strong, and your legs, heavy and relaxed. Your thighs, your knees, letting go of any tension there. Move your awareness down to your calves, your ankles, your feet. Feel your feet fully, completely, as if you are feeling feet for the first time. They carry you through life, these faithful companions, connecting you always to the earth beneath you. Even now, as you rest, they are here, grounding you, rooting you in this moment. If you like, wiggle your toes gently, bringing movement and sensation and awareness. Thank your body silently for being your anchor, for always being here, for never abandoning you even when your mind wanders far away. Jon Kabat-Zinn teaches with such profound simplicity, as long as you are breathing, there is more right with you than wrong with you. Your body is wise beyond the understanding of your thinking mind. It knows how to be present. It is already doing it, has never stopped doing it. When your mind spins with stories, with fears and plans and regrets, your body remains steady, remains here. It breathes without your permission or control. It beats your heart, circulates your blood, heals your wounds, all without your conscious effort. Trust it, return to it, let it be your teacher in presence. The storm will come and go, in weather and in life and in the mind. Thoughts will arise and pass like wind through branches. Emotions will move through like changing weather patterns, rain and sun and clouds. But you, rooted in the body, rooted in breath, rooted in this moment, you remain. Like the oak tree, you are strong not because you resist the wind, not because you fight against change, but because you are deeply grounded, deeply rooted in what is real and present. Rest in this knowing tonight. Let it settle into your cells. Let your body hold you like the earth holds the tree. Let your roots go deep into now. You are safe here. You are home here. You are exactly where you belong. Roots in the earth, branches in the wind. The body anchors you. At the edge of an ancient forest, where wild things lived, and the air smelled of moss and earth and timeless growth, stood a great oak tree that had witnessed centuries pass beneath its branches. For hundreds of years, through countless seasons and cycles, it had weathered fierce storms that tore through the forest, winds that bent smaller trees to breaking, droughts that cracked the earth, and floods that turned the ground to mud. A young monk named Riku would sit beneath this tree to meditate each afternoon, seeking the peace and wisdom he believed existed somewhere beyond his restless, wandering mind. But his mind was always turbulent, always wandering to past and future, always anywhere but here, and he struggled deeply with this, judging himself, feeling like a failure. One day, during a particularly powerful storm, when rain lashed sideways and thunder shook the ground, Riku watched the oak tree closely, studying it with new attention. The branches whipped violently in the wind, bending dramatically, swaying and thrashing, yet the tree remained standing, solid, unmoved at its base. "How do you stay so steady?" Riku asked the tree, shouting over the wind, desperate to understand this mystery of stability in chaos. The tree, of course, did not answer with words, but Riku understood anyway in the way that truth sometimes arrives without language, settling into the bones. The branches could move freely, could bend and sway and dance with the wind, because the roots were deep, anchored firmly in the earth far below the surface. The trunk was solidly planted, grounded, connected to something vast and stable beneath the visible surface. No matter how wild the storm above, no matter how chaotic the surface conditions, the foundation remained unshaken, unmoved. holding everything together. Riku realized in that moment of clarity that this was the teaching he needed, the answer to his struggle. His mind was like the branches, always moving, always swaying, responding to every mental wind that blew through. But his body, this physical form he so often ignored or fought against, was like the roots, like the trunk. His body was always here, always grounded in this moment, always now. When the mind wanders into past or future, when it gets lost in the labyrinth of thought and fantasy and worry, the body calls you home with patient, unwavering presence. The body exists only in the present moment. It cannot be anywhere else, cannot travel through time. It is always and only here, now. Your breath is happening now, not in memory or imagination, but in actual present experience. Your heartbeat is now, this rhythm, this pulse of life. The sensation of your skin, the weight of your bones, the temperature of your hands, all of this is anchored completely in now, in presence, in reality. When you bring awareness to the body, when you feel it rather than think about it, you return to presence instantly, automatically, without effort. The body is your tether to reality, your anchor to now. This is why body-based practices are so powerful in meditation and mindfulness, why teachers across traditions emphasize returning to physical sensation again and again. The mind can travel through time effortlessly, can be in yesterday or tomorrow in the blink of a thought, but the body is your constant companion in the present moment. When you feel lost in thought, when you notice you have drifted away from this moment into past or future, into story or fantasy, simply come back to sensation, to the actual felt experience of having a body. Feel your feet, solid and real. Feel your hands alive and present. Feel your breath, the most reliable anchor of all. This is the root, this is the ground, this is the foundation. This is where you belong, where you have always belonged. Let us practice this together now, bringing full awareness to the body from head to toe, a journey of presence through your physical form. Bring your attention gently to the top of your head, the crown, and notice any sensation there. Perhaps warmth from your scalp, perhaps coolness, perhaps tingling or pressure or nothing at all. And all of these are perfectly fine. There is no right sensation to feel, only the practice of noticing. Now let your awareness move slowly, like honey pouring, down to your forehead. Soften any tension you find there, any tightness, any holding. Move to your eyes, feeling them rest in their sockets, and to your cheeks, your jaw. Let each part of your face relax completely as you bring gentle, kind attention to it, like a blessing passing over. Move now to your neck and shoulders, areas where so many of us hold the weight of our thoughts, our worries, our sense of responsibility for things beyond our control. This is where we armor ourselves against an uncertain world. Breathe into your shoulders. Really feel them. As you exhale slowly, imagine the tension melting down your arms like warm wax, draining out through your fingertips, leaving softness behind. Feel your arms resting wherever they are, heavy and relaxed, no effort needed. Notice your hands, these remarkable instruments that have served you all your life. Feel them from the inside, the subtle aliveness, the warmth or coolness, the tingling of sensation. They are here, present, real, alive. Bring your awareness now to your chest, to the center of your being, and feel the rise and fall of your breath. Your chest is like the trunk of the oak tree, expanding and contracting with each breath, steady and rhythmic, reliable and faithful. Feel the life moving through you with each inhale and exhale, the ancient rhythm that has sustained you since your first breath and will sustain you until your last. Move your attention to your belly, soft and relaxed. Let it be completely soft. No need to hold it tight or suck it in. Breathe deeply into your belly and feel it rise like a gentle wave. Exhale and feel it fall. This is your center, your stability, your ground. Now feel your hips, solid and strong, and your legs, heavy and relaxed. Your thighs, your knees, letting go of any tension there. Move your awareness down to your calves, your ankles, your feet. Feel your feet fully, completely, as if you are feeling feet for the first time. They carry you through life, these faithful companions, connecting you always to the earth beneath you. Even now, as you rest, they are here, grounding you, rooting you in this moment. If you like, wiggle your toes gently, bringing movement and sensation and awareness. Thank your body silently for being your anchor, for always being here, for never abandoning you even when your mind wanders far away. Jon Kabat-Zinn teaches with such profound simplicity, as long as you are breathing, there is more right with you than wrong with you. Your body is wise beyond the understanding of your thinking mind. It knows how to be present. It is already doing it, has never stopped doing it. When your mind spins with stories, with fears and plans and regrets, your body remains steady, remains here. It breathes without your permission or control. It beats your heart, circulates your blood, heals your wounds, all without your conscious effort. Trust it, return to it, let it be your teacher in presence. The storm will come and go, in weather and in life and in the mind. Thoughts will arise and pass like wind through branches. Emotions will move through like changing weather patterns, rain and sun and clouds. But you, rooted in the body, rooted in breath, rooted in this moment, you remain. Like the oak tree, you are strong not because you resist the wind, not because you fight against change, but because you are deeply grounded, deeply rooted in what is real and present. Rest in this knowing tonight. Let it settle into your cells. Let your body hold you like the earth holds the tree. Let your roots go deep into now. You are safe here. You are home here. You are exactly where you belong. The student and the book never read. Perfection is the enemy of presence. There was a student named May who loved wisdom and learning, with a passion that burned bright in her heart, who believed that knowledge was the path to enlightenment and understanding. Her small room in the temple was filled with books and scrolls, teachings from masters across the land, sacred texts and philosophical works, poetry and sutras. She had collected them carefully over years, each one chosen with intention, each one promising insight and transformation. But May had a problem that prevented her from ever receiving what these books offered. She never read them, not truly, not deeply. Every time she picked up a book, settled down to finally engage with the teachings, a voice in her mind would stop her. Not yet, the voice would say with authority. You are not ready. You need to be in the right state of mind, the right mood, the right energy. You need more time, uninterrupted time, perfect conditions. You need complete silence, perfect focus, total clarity. You need to understand the previous book first, to have the proper foundation, the proper preparation. Days turned to weeks, and weeks turned to months, and months became years. The books gathered dust on her shelves, their pages unturned, their wisdom locked inside, while May waited endlessly for the perfect conditions that never came. She would touch them lovingly, rearrange them, think about reading them, but always the voice would return. Not now, Not yet. Not like this. You are not ready. This is not the right time. One evening, as lamps were being lit throughout the temple and shadows grew long, her teacher visited her room unexpectedly and saw the untouched collection, this library of unread wisdom. "Why do you not read?" the teacher asked gently, curious and concerned. May looked down, feeling shame heat her cheeks. "I want to do it right," she explained, her voice tight with the perfectionism that imprisoned her. "I want to be ready, truly ready. I want to give each teaching the full attention it deserves, the respect it requires. When the time is perfect, when I am in the perfect state, then I will begin. I will do it properly then." The teacher picked up a book at random from the shelf, opened it to a page somewhere in the middle without looking, and began to read aloud. The words were simple but profound, speaking directly to the heart of suffering and the path to freedom. May felt tears come to her eyes unexpectedly, the teaching landing in her heart like an arrow finding its target. It was exactly what she needed to hear in that moment, medicine for her soul. The teacher closed the book quietly and handed it to May, looking into her eyes. "The perfect moment is now," she said with gentle firmness. "The perfect state is this state, whatever it is, messy and imperfect and human. You will never be more ready than you are right now in this breath." Waiting for perfection is just another way of avoiding life, another way of saying I am not good enough yet. This moment is not good enough yet, but you are enough. This moment is enough. Begin here, with what is, with who you are right now. Perfectionism is one of the most subtle and destructive forms of resistance to the present moment, and it is worth understanding clearly because it disguises itself so well. It wears the mask of high standards, of wanting to do things well, of caring about quality and excellence. But beneath the mask is fear, deep and often unexamined. Fear of failure, of not being good enough, of being seen as inadequate or flawed. So we delay. We say when I am calmer, when I am more focused, when I have more energy, when I feel better, when conditions are perfect, then I will meditate, then I will rest, then I will be present, then I will truly live. But that day never comes because the conditions are never perfect, because you are never who you think you need to be in order to deserve presence. Presence does not require perfect conditions. This is crucial to understand. In fact, presence is the practice of meeting life exactly as it is, messy and imperfect and unpredictable and often uncomfortable. You do not need a quiet mind to meditate. You need only to notice that the mind is not quiet and be with that. You do not need to feel peaceful to practice peace. You need only to be present with the absence of peace. You do not need to be healed to begin healing. You need only to be willing to be with what is unhealed. You begin where you are, with what you have, exactly as you are in this moment, now, not later. Right now, in this very moment, notice if there is any voice in you saying, I am not doing this right. I am not relaxed enough. I should be sleepier by now. My mind should be quieter. I should feel different than I feel. These thoughts are the voice of perfectionism, the voice that keeps you waiting, keeps you judging, keeps you separate from this moment and from yourself. They are the voice that says you are not allowed to be here until you are different, better, more evolved. Gently, with great kindness to yourself, set these thoughts aside. You are doing it right simply by being here, simply by breathing, simply by being willing to show up as you are. Dogen Zenji, the founder of Soto Zen and one of the great teachers of all time, taught something revolutionary that can liberate you if you truly hear it. He said that practice and enlightenment are not two separate things, not a journey from here to there, not a process of becoming something you are not yet. Practice itself is enlightenment. Being present now is already awakening. This breath, this moment of awareness, this willingness to be here exactly as you are, this is it. There is nothing more to wait for, nothing more to achieve before you are allowed to be awake and present. Being present now is not preparation for some future awakening that will come if you practice enough. Being present now is the awakening, complete in itself, whole in itself. Let yourself be imperfect in this moment. Let yourself be exactly as you are. Let this moment be imperfect, not matching your idea of what meditation or rest or peace should feel like. Let your practice be messy and human and real. Maybe your mind is busy, racing with thoughts. Maybe your body is restless, uncomfortable, unable to settle. Maybe you feel nothing special at all, no bliss or peace or transcendence. This is fine, this is real, this is perfectly acceptable. This is the raw material of presence, the actual texture of being human. You do not need to fix yourself before you can be here. You do not need to become someone different before you are allowed presence. You are allowed to be here exactly as you are, imperfect and incomplete and in process. May finally began to read that night, letting go of the demand for perfection that had held her prisoner for so long. Not perfectly, not with complete focus or ideal conditions. Her mind wandered frequently. She had to reread sentences. She did not understand everything immediately. But she was there, actually engaging, actually participating, actually living instead of endlessly preparing to live. And the book came alive for her in ways it never could have if she had waited for perfect conditions, because she met it with the real version of herself, not some idealized future self. The real version, flawed and human and present, was enough. The real version was always enough. Tonight, let go completely of the need to do this perfectly, to be perfect, to feel perfect. Let go of the idea that you should be in some other state, some more relaxed or peaceful or spiritual state. You are here. You are breathing. You are aware. This is enough, more than enough. This is the practice, meeting yourself and this moment with radical acceptance. This is the path, not becoming someone worthy of presence, but being present as whoever you are right now. This is your life, unfolding in its perfectly imperfect way, and you do not need to wait for better conditions to show up for it. Welcome it exactly as it is. Be with it exactly as you are. Start where you are. Start now. There is no other moment. There never was. There never will be. The potter and the breathing clay. Flow is total presence. In a quiet village where time moved slowly and traditions were honored, there lived a potter named Hikaru, who was known throughout the region for creating vessels of extraordinary beauty, bowls and cups and vases that seemed to hold more than just water or tea. That seemed to hold something of the sacred itself. People would travel from distant lands to watch him work, hoping to learn his secret, hoping to understand what made his work so different, so alive. But when they arrived at his humble workshop, anticipation high, they found nothing extraordinary, nothing mystical or magical. Hikaru simply sat at his wheel day after day, working with clay, silent and deeply focused. There were no special techniques visible, no hidden tools or secret processes, no mysterious rituals performed. Just a man and clay and the turning wheel and complete total attention flowing like a river. One day, a young artist who had been watching for hours, mesmerized by the movement of Hikaru's hands, finally gathered courage to ask, "Master, how do you create such beauty? What is your secret? Please, teach me." Hikaru continued shaping the clay as he spoke, his hands never stopping their fluid movement, his eyes never leaving his work. "There is no secret," he said simply, his voice quiet and matter-of-fact. "When I am with the clay, I am only with the clay. Nothing else exists. I feel its texture beneath my fingers, whether it is smooth or rough, moist or dry. I feel its resistance and its willingness, the way it pushes back and the way it yields. I listen to it, really listen, and it tells me what it wants to become. My hands know what to do because I am completely here, completely present, not divided. I do not think about the finished pot, or worry about mistakes, or judge my work. I am in this moment, with this clay, and we create together as partners in a dance." The artist watched more closely now, paying attention in a new way, looking beneath the surface. He noticed that Hikaru's breathing matched the rhythm of the turning wheel perfectly, breath and movement synchronized in effortless harmony. He noticed that there was no separation visible between the potter and the pot being formed, no sense of someone controlling something, but rather of two forces collaborating, co-creating. Hikaru was not dominating the clay, forcing it into shape through will and strength. He was dancing with it, listening to it, responding to it moment by moment. He was so completely present, so totally absorbed in the process, that the sense of "I am doing this," the self-consciousness that normally divides us from our actions, had disappeared entirely. There was only the doing itself, the creating, the flow. This is what we call flow state, and it is one of the most profound expressions of presence. Flow is the state of being so completely present in an activity that self-consciousness dissolves like morning mist, leaving only pure experience, pure being, pure doing. Time seems to disappear or become irrelevant. You lose track of hours that feel like minutes. Effort becomes effortless, not because the task is easy, but because resistance has vanished, because you have stopped fighting yourself and the moment. You are not thinking about what you are doing or how you are doing it, not monitoring or judging or controlling. You are simply doing it, fully, completely, with your whole being engaged and alive. This state is not only for artists or craftspeople or athletes. Flow is available to anyone who brings full presence to any action, no matter how simple or ordinary. You have experienced flow before, even if you did not name it or recognize it for what it was, even if it was brief and fleeting. Perhaps while cooking, when you were so absorbed in chopping and stirring and tasting, that everything else faded away and there was only the food, the process, the creation. Perhaps while walking in nature, when you stopped thinking entirely and simply moved with the landscape, became part of it, merged with it in wordless communion. Perhaps while listening to music, when you became the listening itself, when the boundary between listener and sound dissolved completely. Perhaps while talking with someone you love, in those rare moments of true connection when time stopped and there was only the meeting, the presence, the being together. These moments are glimpses of pure presence, windows into what is possible when we stop fragmenting our attention and bring our whole being to what is here. Most of the time, tragically, we are divided rather than whole, scattered rather than gathered, fragmented rather than integrated. We do one thing while thinking about another, planning the next thing while half doing the current thing. We eat while planning our day, never tasting a bite. We work while worrying about relationships, never fully engaged. We talk to people while our mind is elsewhere, never truly listening or connecting. This divided attention is utterly exhausting, draining our energy like 1,000 small leaks. It prevents us from experiencing the richness and depth of any single moment, because we are always skimming the surface, never diving deep into the fullness of now. Dogen Zenji taught with elegant simplicity: when you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. When you sit, just sit. This is the practice of wholehearted presence, of gathering all your scattered attention and bringing it fully to one thing. Not doing many things at once, not multitasking or dividing yourself, but being completely present for one thing at a time. This does not mean you become rigid or unable to adapt or respond to multiple demands when life requires it. It means that whatever you are doing in any given moment, you are fully there for it, not somewhere else. You give it the gift of your complete attention, your whole presence, your undivided being. Choose something simple right now to practice this wholehearted presence, the sensation of breathing, just breathing, nothing else added or needed. Be with it completely, totally, as if breathing is the only thing happening in the entire universe. Do not try to control the breath. Do not make it deeper or longer or different than it wants to be. Do not count breaths or create a technique. Simply feel breathing, pure and simple. The coolness or warmth at the tip of your nose as air enters and leaves. The expansion of your ribs, subtle but real. The gentle pause between breaths, that moment of suspension. Be with the breath the way Hikaru is with clay, listening to it, feeling it, partnering with it. Let there be no separation between you and the breathing, no observer watching from a distance. You are not observing the breath, you are the breath, you are the breathing happening. Notice what happens when you bring this quality of total attention to something, even something as simple and ordinary as breathing. The experience becomes richer, fuller, more alive and vivid. The breath is no longer boring or mechanical or something to get through. It becomes endlessly fascinating, each breath unique and unrepeatable. Every moment of breathing is new, fresh, interesting. This is what presence reveals, what it unveils when we finally show up fully. The infinite depth hiding in the ordinary, the sacred concealed in the simple, the extraordinary nature of the ordinary when met with full attention. As Hikaru finishes a pot, he does not rush immediately to the next one, does not allow momentum to carry him forward without pause. He stops, he pauses, he honors the completion. He cleans his hands mindfully, feeling the water and the clay washing away. He sits in silence for a moment, breathing, resetting, returning. Then, when he is truly ready, when presence has gathered again, he begins the next pot. Each pot receives his full presence, his complete attention, his total being. None is more important than another. None is rushed or half done. This is how he lives, how he has learned to live. Fully here, fully now, fully alive in each moment, each breath, each touch. Tonight, as you rest, practice this. Be the potter. Let your breath be the clay you are shaping with gentle attention. Shape this moment with your full presence, your complete being. Do not think about sleep or whether you are doing this right. Be with the practice of resting. Be with it fully. Let yourself dissolve into the doing, into the being. This is flow. This is presence. This is peace itself. The bridge between two shores. Anxiety lives where the body is not. There was once a traveler named Isra who came to a wide river after days of walking through unfamiliar lands, her feet sore and her supplies running low. A long wooden bridge stretched across the water, connecting one shore to the other, ancient and weathered, but still sturdy. Isra stepped onto the bridge and began to walk across, her footsteps echoing on the planks, the river flowing far below. But halfway across, right in the middle, where she could see both shores but stood fully on neither, she stopped. Behind her was the shore of the past. Everything she had been, every choice she had made, every moment already lived, finished and complete. Ahead of her was the shore of the future, uncertain and unknown, full of possibility, but also full of questions and fears, unpredictable and uncontrollable. Isra became paralyzed in that middle space, frozen between what was and what might be. She looked back over her shoulder, her heart heavy with regret, and thoughts poured through her mind like water through a broken dam. I should have left earlier, she thought with anguish. I should have taken a different path, prepared better, brought more supplies, made different choices. If only I had known then what I know now. The regret felt real and heavy, even though the past was long gone, unchangeable. Then she looked forward toward the far shore, and different thoughts arose, sharp with anxiety. What if the bridge collapses before I reach the other side? What if I chose the wrong destination entirely? What if I am not ready for what comes next, not strong enough, not wise enough? What if I fail? She stood frozen between past and future, unable to move forward or back, caught in the trap of her own mind, her heart racing, her breath shallow and tight, suffering tremendously. An old ferryman who transported people across the river in a small boat called out from the water below, his voice cutting through her mental storm. "Why are you standing still?" he asked with genuine curiosity. "The bridge is solid, your legs are strong. Why do you not walk?" Isra looked down at him, desperation in her voice. "I am stuck," she said. "I do not know whether to go back or go forward. I am afraid of both directions, paralyzed by both regret and fear. I cannot move." The ferryman smiled with understanding, the gentle smile of someone who has seen this suffering many times before and knows the way out. "You are not on either shore," he said. "You are on the bridge. The bridge is now, this moment, this plank beneath your feet. The only way to be free is to be here, right where you are, not in yesterday that is finished, or tomorrow that has not arrived. Walk if you wish, but walk here, in this step, not in memory or imagination. Feel this wood beneath your feet. Feel this breath in your lungs. Be here. This is the precise nature of anxiety, and understanding this can liberate you from enormous suffering. Anxiety is what happens when the mind is in one time and the body is in another, when there is a split between where you are and where your attention is. Your body is here, always and only here, now, in this moment, breathing this breath, sitting or lying in this position. But your mind is in the future, racing ahead, rehearsing disasters that have not happened and may never happen, imagining problems, playing out worst-case scenarios, trying desperately to control what cannot be controlled. The gap between body and mind, between where you are and where your attention is, creates a terrible tension, a pulling apart that is exhausting and frightening. It is like being pulled in two directions at once, torn between here and there. No wonder you cannot rest. No wonder you feel fragmented and afraid. The body, this physical form, cannot be anxious in the present moment. This is crucial to understand. The body can only respond to what is actually happening right now, to real and present danger or safety. Anxiety is always about what might happen, about the imagined future, not what is happening. Right now, in this exact moment as you listen to or read these words, are you safe? Is there an immediate danger threatening you? Is something terrible actually occurring in this breath? Most likely, almost certainly, the answer is no. You are safe right now. The danger is imagined, projected into a future that does not exist yet. The threat is in your thoughts about tomorrow, not in the reality of today. The suffering is happening in a story about the future, not in the actual experience of now. This does not mean that your concerns are not real or that you should not prepare for actual challenges ahead, and this is important to acknowledge. There may be real difficulties coming, real things that need attention and action and planning. But worrying about them now, in this moment, when you cannot actually do anything about them, does not prepare you for them. It does not make you more ready or more capable. It exhausts you, drains your energy and clarity, depletes the very resources you will need when the time comes to actually face those challenges. Worry is not productive planning or wise preparation. Worry is the mind trying futilely to control the future by suffering about it in advance, as if anxiety could prevent bad things from happening. But the future cannot be controlled this way, cannot be managed through mental rehearsal of disaster. It can only be met when it actually arrives, and you will meet it better if you are rested and present rather than exhausted by worry. The way out of anxiety, the path to freedom from this particular form of suffering, is to reunify body and mind, to bring your attention back to where your body actually is. This is done through sensation, through the felt experience of being embodied. Feel your feet right now, really feel them. Are they warm or cold, relaxed or tense? Can you wiggle your toes, feel the life in them? Feel your hands, wherever they are. Feel the texture beneath them, the temperature, the subtle sensations. This is the bridge beneath you, the actual solid ground supporting your weight. Not the past shore that you have already left, not the future shore that you have not yet reached. This step, this breath, this moment, this is what is real. Let us practice this reunification now, this bringing together of body and mind in the present moment. Take a deep breath in, slowly and consciously, through your nose if you can. Fill your lungs completely, feeling the expansion. Hold it gently at the top for a moment, just a brief pause. Now release it, slowly, through your mouth, letting it all go. Feel how this simple act of conscious breathing brings you immediately into your body, into now. Do this 2 more times with full attention. Breathe in deeply, feeling the air enter. Hold gently, release completely, feeling the letting go. 1 more time. Breathe in, filling yourself with life and presence. Hold, release, softening and settling. Feel how this grounds you, anchors you, reunites you with where you actually are. Place 1 hand on your chest and 1 hand on your belly now, and feel them rise and fall with each breath. This is your anchor to the present moment, your connection to reality rather than imagination. This is your bridge, solid and real. When the mind spins with what if, when it pulls you toward imagined futures, terrible or wonderful, but equally unreal, return here to this sensation. Feel the warmth of your hands against your body. Feel the rhythm of your breath, steady and reliable. Say to yourself with kindness, I am here, I am breathing, I am safe in this moment. Not safe forever, not guaranteed safety in an uncertain future, but safe now, in this breath, on this bridge. Thich Nhat Hanh teaches a beautiful practice that can transform anxiety in moments, and he offers it as a gift to all who suffer this way. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. This simple practice, repeated with sincerity and attention, reunites mind and body, interrupts the cycle of anxious thinking, reminds you that now is the only time that truly exists. And in this now, you are okay, you are breathing, you are alive, you are here. The future will come in its own time, and you will meet it when it arrives, but you do not have to meet it now, do not have to live it in advance through worry. Ezra eventually took a step, then another, feeling the wood beneath her feet. She stopped looking back with regret, stopped looking forward with fear. She felt the bridge, solid and supporting her. She felt the breeze on her face, cool and real. She walked one step at a time, present for each step, feeling each footfall, each breath, each moment. And she made it across to the other shore, arriving safely. Not because the journey was easy, or because her fears were unfounded, but because she learned to be where she was instead of where she was not. Tonight, walk your own bridge between past and future. Be here in the middle, on the only plank that can actually hold your weight. Let the past rest behind you, finished and complete. Let the future wait ahead, unformed and unknown. You are on the bridge of now. You are safe in this breath. You are enough. You are here. You are okay. Breathe, feel, be present, and trust that this moment is all you ever need to stand on. The healer of ancient wounds. Compassion begins now. In a mountain village where the air was thin and pure, and the silence was broken only by wind and birdsong, there lived a healer named Sada, who was known throughout the region for her gentle touch, her wise remedies, and her compassionate heart. People came to her from distant places with ailments of all kinds, physical pains and emotional wounds, and she treated each person with the same careful attention and genuine care. But Sada herself carried a deep pain that she had never allowed herself to fully feel or heal, a wound she had covered over and tried to ignore. Years ago, she had lost someone she loved deeply, and the grief had never fully resolved, never been completely processed. She spent her days helping others while ignoring the ache in her own heart, tending everyone else's wounds while leaving her own unattended. One winter evening, as snow fell softly outside and the world grew quiet and white, a child came to Sada with a fresh cut on her hand, bleeding and painful, her eyes wide with fear and hurt. Sada cleaned the wound gently, her touch sure and kind, bandaged it carefully, and spoke softly to comfort the frightened child, telling her she would heal. It would be okay. The pain would pass. As the girl left, thanking her and smiling despite her tears, Sada sat alone in her small room and noticed tears on her own cheeks, hot and unexpected. She realized in that moment, with a clarity that was both painful and liberating, that she had been treating old scars, old losses, old regrets from years past, revisiting them endlessly in her mind, while ignoring the pain that was present now, alive, and asking for attention. The grief was not from years ago, not truly in the past. The grief was here, now, in this moment, alive in her body, asking to be seen, to be felt, to be held with compassion. Her teacher, an old monk who lived in a cave nearby and came down occasionally to check on her, visited that night as if he had sensed her need. He saw her tears and sat beside her without speaking, just sitting, breathing, being present. After a long silence, he said gently, "You are a healer and a gifted one, but you forget to heal what is here now, what is alive and present. You keep looking at wounds from the past, trying to fix what has already scarred over, replaying old pain as if this time you might resolve it or understand it or make it different. But the pain you feel tonight, right now, in this moment, this is alive, this is present. This is what needs your compassion now. Not the pain from 5 years ago, but the way that pain lives in you today." We often do this, and it is worth seeing clearly, because recognizing the pattern is the first step to changing it. We revisit old pain compulsively, replaying it in our minds like a film we have seen 1,000 times, analyzing it, trying to understand why it happened or how we could have prevented it, wishing desperately that we could go back and change it. We think that if we just go back mentally one more time, if we just think about it enough, we will finally heal the past, finally make peace with what happened. But the past is not here and cannot be healed in the past, because the past does not exist except as memory, as thought, as story. The past can only be healed now, in this present moment, by bringing compassion to how the past lives in your body and heart today, to the present moment experience of that old wound. There is a crucial difference between healthy reflection and rumination, and learning to distinguish them can save you enormous suffering. Reflection is spacious, curious, kind, and oriented toward learning and growth. It says, what can I learn from this experience? How can I grow from this? What is this teaching me? Reflection has a quality of openness and leads toward peace and understanding. Rumination is tight, repetitive, punishing, and oriented toward blame and regret. It says obsessively, why did this happen to me? Why did I do that? How could I have been so stupid? What is wrong with me? Rumination has a quality of constriction and loops endlessly, never arriving at resolution or peace. If you notice you are ruminating, going over the same ground again and again without movement or progress, you are not healing. You are avoiding the present moment where actual healing lives and is possible. The pain you feel now, whatever form it takes, grief or loneliness or fear or sadness or shame, it is not a mistake or an error in the system. It is not a sign that you are broken or doing something wrong or failing at life. It is a messenger arriving at your door with an important message, and that message is this: compassion is needed here. Not compassion for who you were 10 years ago, not compassion directed backward in time to some past version of yourself, but compassion for who you are now, in this body, in this moment, feeling what you are actually feeling. This present pain, this current ache, this is what needs to be held with tenderness. Ajahn Chah, a beloved Thai meditation master whose teaching has touched millions, taught with such beautiful simplicity and depth: if you let go a little, you will have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of peace. And if you let go completely, you will have complete peace. Letting go does not mean forgetting what happened, or pretending the past did not matter, or denying that you were hurt. Letting go means you stop demanding that the past be different than it was, stop fighting with what already happened, stop insisting that reality should have been other than it was. You turn toward now and ask with genuine openness, what does this moment need? What does this heart need right now? Not what did it need 10 years ago, but what does it need in this breath, this feeling, this present experience of being alive? Place your hand on your heart now, right over your chest, and feel the warmth of your palm against your body. This is a gesture of self-compassion, of coming home to yourself. Breathe slowly and deeply, feeling your chest rise and fall beneath your hand. As you breathe, say silently to yourself, with as much kindness as you can muster, I am here. I see you. Whatever you are feeling, it is okay. You do not need to fix it or change it or make it go away. You only need to be with it, gently, tenderly, the way you would be with a frightened child or a wounded animal, with patience and care and unconditional acceptance. This is self-compassion. This is the healing that happens now, in presence, not in endless thinking about the past. Imagine your heart as that child with the fresh wound that Sada tended so carefully. It does not need you to go back in time and prevent the injury from happening in the first place. It cannot be helped that way. It needs you to be here now, in this present moment, to clean the wound with tenderness, to bandage it with kindness, to hold it until the sharp pain softens into something bearable. You cannot heal yesterday. You cannot go back and undo what happened. But you can heal how yesterday lives in you today, how the past manifests in your present body and heart. You do this by being present, by being kind to yourself, by allowing yourself to feel what you feel without judgment or resistance, by holding yourself the way you would hold someone you love who is suffering. Seda learned through practice and patience to place her hand on her own heart each night before sleep, a ritual of self-compassion. She learned to say to herself, "I am here with you. I see your pain. I am not abandoning you." She stopped trying to fix or resolve or heal the past and started tending to the present, to this moment's experience of that old grief. The grief did not disappear, did not magically vanish, but it softened over time. It became something she could hold and carry instead of something that held and carried her. She became whole, not by erasing the wound or pretending it never happened, but by loving herself through it, here, now, in this moment, breath by breath, day by day. Tonight, bring your attention gently to any pain that is present in you now. Not the story of where it came from, or who caused it, or why it should not be here, but the feeling itself, the raw sensation. Where do you feel it in your body? Is it tightness in your chest? A band of constriction? Is it heaviness in your belly? A weighted stone? Is it an ache in your throat? Pressure behind your eyes? Breathe into that place, wherever it is. Send warmth there with your breath, with your attention, with your care. You are not trying to make it go away or fix it or change it. You are simply saying with your presence, "I am here with you. I acknowledge you. I care." This is compassion. This is healing. This is the only moment it can actually happen. Be here. Be kind. Let yourself be held by your own gentle, patient, unconditional presence. The bell that rings only once. Each moment is unrepeatable. In a remote monastery nestled high in the mountains where clouds drifted through the courtyards and the air tasted of pine and snow, there was a bell that hung in the central courtyard, ancient and sacred, made of bronze that had turned green with centuries. Unlike other monastery bells that rang multiple times throughout the day to mark the hours and call monks to prayer, this bell was rung only once each morning at dawn, a single pure note to greet the new day. A young monk named Tenzin, curious and analytical by nature, asked the abbot one evening why this was so, why they did not ring it more often like other monasteries did. The abbot smiled, his weathered face crinkling with joy and wisdom. "Because each ring is precious," he said simply. "If the bell rang all day long, every hour calling attention to itself, we would stop listening, we would stop truly hearing. It would become background noise, something we take for granted and ignore. But because it rings only once, we gather each morning to hear it with fresh ears. We are present for it, fully attentive. We honor its singular beauty, its unrepeatable moment." Tenzin began to notice how he approached the bell each morning after this conversation, how the teaching changed his experience entirely. He would wake early, while darkness still held the valley and stars still shone, wash his face in cold water to sharpen his senses, and walk quietly to the courtyard with the other monks. They would stand together in silence, waiting, breathing, preparing themselves to receive the sound. When the designated monk finally struck the bell with the wooden mallet, the sound was so clear and pure and full that it seemed to fill not just the courtyard, but the entire valley, rolling out across mountains and forests, vibrating in Tenzin's chest like a second heartbeat. He could hear the sound developing, reaching its peak, then fading slowly into the morning air, dissolving gradually into birdsong and wind and the rustle of robes. And then it was gone. That exact ring finished forever. That precise combination of metal and wood and air and morning and intention would never happen again in exactly that way. This is the profound truth of every moment, and really feeling this truth rather than just understanding it intellectually can transform how you live. Each moment rings once, appears once, exists once, and then is gone forever. This breath you are taking right now, you will never take this exact breath again in all of eternity. This heartbeat pulsing in your chest, this will never repeat. This sensation, this thought, this moment of awareness, it is utterly unique and unrepeatable, arising fresh and dying immediately, making room for the next moment, which will also be completely new. And yet, despite this precious fragility, this miraculous uniqueness, we so often ignore it, dismiss it, overlook it completely. We treat moments as if they are infinite, as if we can always come back to them later, as if now is ordinary and someday will be special. But we cannot, and it is not. When we live on autopilot, moving through our days unconsciously, we miss the ringing of the bell of this moment. We are so busy thinking about the next thing, planning and worrying and remembering, that we do not hear the beauty of now. We eat without tasting, letting food pass through our mouths while our minds are elsewhere. We see without really looking, eyes open, but not perceiving, not witnessing. We listen without truly hearing, sounds entering ears, but not touching consciousness. We are technically alive, hearts beating and lungs breathing, but we are not present for our own lives. This is perhaps the deepest tragedy available to human beings. Not that life is short, though it is, but that we are absent for so much of it, sleepwalking through our precious days. Presence transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, reveals the sacred hiding in the simple. When you truly listen to the sound of water running from a tap, not as background noise but as the focus of your full attention, it is not just water making noise. It is a symphony of sounds, complex and layered, rising and falling. When you truly see the face of someone you love, really look at them with fresh eyes, as if seeing them for the first time. It is not just a familiar face. It is a miracle of being, consciousness looking at consciousness, a universe experiencing itself. When you truly feel your own breath, sense it fully in your body, it is not just air moving in and out mechanically. It is life itself flowing through you, the universe sustaining you, breathing you, reminding you moment by moment that you are here, alive, part of the great mystery. The Buddha taught about the preciousness of human life, and he used a vivid image to convey just how rare this opportunity is. He said that the chance of being born as a human, with the capacity for awareness and awakening, is as rare as a blind turtle living at the bottom of a vast ocean, surfacing once every 100 years, and happening, by pure chance, to put its head through a small wooden ring floating randomly on the waves. This life you have, this moment of awareness you are experiencing right now, it is extraordinarily rare and precious beyond measure. Do not waste it by being somewhere else mentally, by living in past or future while this moment goes unwitnessed. Do not let this moment ring unheard while you are lost in thought about moments that no longer exist or have not yet come. Bring your attention now to the sounds around you, wherever you are, and do this with full presence. Do not label the sounds or judge them as pleasant or unpleasant, wanted or unwanted. Simply listen as if you are hearing for the first time, as if you have never heard sound before, and it is a miracle, which it is. Perhaps there is silence, deep and full, and silence is also a sound when you listen carefully. Perhaps there are distant sounds, traffic or wind or voices, soft hums of electricity or the settling of a building. Perhaps there is the sound of your own breathing, gentle and rhythmic. Listen fully without analysis or commentary. Let the sound fill your awareness completely. This is the bell ringing. This is the moment offering itself to you, unique and unrepeatable. Now bring attention to your breath, not to change it or improve it or make it special, but to honor it as it is. This breath is new, has never existed before in the billions of years of cosmic history. The air entering your lungs right now is a gift. Atoms and molecules that have traveled the world, been part of oceans and trees and other beings, and now sustain you for this one precious moment. Feel the breath as if it is the first breath you have ever taken, with wonder and gratitude. Feel the miracle of it, this automatic process that requires no effort from you but keeps you alive. This is presence. This is waking up to the preciousness of now. This is finally paying attention to your life. Shunryu Suzuki Roshi said, and these words deserve to be remembered and lived. Each moment is the universe. Nothing is missing in this moment. Everything you need to be whole, to be awake, to be at peace, it is already here, already present. You are not waiting for a better moment, a more special moment, a more spiritual or peaceful or perfect moment. This moment is it. This is the moment you have been waiting for. The bell is ringing right now. Can you hear it? Can you feel it vibrating in your chest and bones? Can you let yourself be fully here for it, fully present, fully alive? Tenzin eventually understood deeply why the bell rang only once. Understood it not as intellectual knowledge, but as lived wisdom. It was teaching him to live his entire life this way, to meet each moment as if it were the only ring, the only chance, the only now. He learned to eat his meals with complete attention, tasting each bite fully. He learned to walk with full presence, feeling each step, each contact of foot with earth. He learned to sit in meditation as if each breath were the ringing of the bell, precious and unrepeatable and worthy of his complete attention. His life became rich beyond measure, not because anything changed externally in circumstances or conditions, but because he finally showed up for it, finally arrived, finally stopped postponing his own life. Tonight, as you rest here, practice this. Each breath is the bell ringing. Each moment of awareness is the sound filling the valley. Do not wait for a more special moment to be present. Do not save your presence for later, for some more convenient or peaceful time. Be here now. Listen now. Feel now. This is your life, this moment right here. It is ringing its unique song, and it will not ring this way again. This exact combination of sensation and thought and awareness will never return. Honor it by being present for it. Receive it by really being here. Let yourself be fully alive in this singular, precious, unrepeatable now. The dancer and her 1,000 names. Feel before you name. There was once a dancer named Arya who performed in the royal court, known throughout the kingdom for her technical precision and flawless execution of the classical style. She was trained from childhood in the ancient tradition, every movement mapped and catalogued, every gesture named and memorized. There was the opening stance with feet positioned just so, the turning step with precise rotation, the closing bow with exact angle and timing. She knew the name of every position, every transition, every subtle variation, and could recite them like a scholar recites texts. But something essential was missing from her dancing, something that made all her technical perfection feel hollow and empty. Her performances were technically perfect, not a single mistake, but they had no soul, no life, no genuine feeling flowing through them. The audience watched politely out of respect for her skill, but no one was moved, no tears fell, no hearts opened. One night, an old dancer visited the court from a distant land, a woman who walked slowly and moved with the stiffness of age, but whose eyes held deep fire. She had no formal training that anyone knew of, had never studied in the classical academies, but when she moved to music, even in her age, people wept openly. They felt something stirring in their own hearts, remembered something they thought they had forgotten. After her performance, Arya approached her backstage, driven by desperation and curiosity. "How do you dance with such feeling?" she asked, her voice tight with longing and confusion. "What is your secret?" The old woman smiled, kind but direct. "I do not think the names of movements," she said. "I do not remember the steps in my head or catalogue what I am doing. I feel the music first. Let it enter me completely. I let it move me from the inside rather than imposing movement from the outside. The name comes after, if it comes at all, but I am not dancing the names. You are dancing names and concepts and ideas about dance, not the dance itself. You are living in your head, in concepts about reality, not in direct experience of reality. This is a profound teaching about presence that extends far beyond dance into every aspect of living. We live so much of our lives through concepts, through the names and labels we give things, through our ideas and thoughts about reality, rather than reality itself as it is directly experienced. We do not actually experience the sunset. We think the words, "beautiful sunset," and believe we have experienced it. We do not truly feel sadness. We think "I am sad," and mistake the thought for the feeling. We do not really taste food. We think this is good or this is bad, and miss the actual sensations on our tongue. The concept, the word, the label becomes a filter that separates us from direct experience, puts a screen between us and reality. Language is indeed a powerful and necessary tool, and this teaching is not suggesting we abandon language entirely. It allows us to communicate with each other, to think abstractly, to plan and create and share. But it also creates distance, and this is what we must notice. The moment you name something, you are one step removed from it, experiencing the map instead of the territory. The word tree is not the actual tree, not the bark and leaves and roots and life. The word love is not the feeling of love pulsing in your chest. The word now is not this living, breathing, felt moment. Concepts and labels point toward reality. They can indicate direction, but they are not reality itself. When we mistake the map for the territory, when we believe our concepts are the thing itself, we get lost in abstraction and lose contact with the vivid aliveness of direct experience. Children experience the world more directly, more immediately, before language has fully colonized their consciousness. A small child does not see a tree and think, "That is an oak tree, deciduous, approximately 40 feet tall, Latin name Quercus." A child sees color and movement and texture and shadow and possibility, experiences the treeness of the tree directly without mediation. The child is in direct contact with reality, touching it without the barrier of excessive conceptualization. As we grow older and language develops, we trade this direct experience for efficient categorization and communication. We see a tree and immediately file it away mentally under known things, barely looking at it, and move on. We stop really seeing, really experiencing, really being present to what is actually here. Zen practice invites us, challenges us, to return to beginner's mind, to experience before naming, to feel before thinking, to be before labeling. This does not mean we become unable to speak or think or use language, which would be neither possible nor desirable. It means we remember that beneath and before the concepts is raw, vivid, alive experience, unfiltered reality as it actually is. And that direct experience is always and only happening now, in this present moment. You can think about experience, remember it, or anticipate it, but you can only actually feel and experience it now. Try this right now as an experiment in direct experience. Feel your body without naming what you feel. Do not say to yourself, I feel tension, or I feel relaxation, or I feel warmth or cold. Just feel pure sensation, without the labels that seem to capture it, but actually distance you from it. Notice how difficult this is at first, how automatic the naming impulse is. The mind wants desperately to name, to categorize, to explain, to control through labeling. Gently, patiently, let the naming go. Return to pure feeling, sensation before language. This is presence. This is direct experience. This is reality before the filter of thought. Now listen to the sounds around you without naming them, without identifying them. Not car, not wind, not voices, not silence. Just sound itself, pure vibration, pure movement of air, pure auditory experience. Let the sound exist in your awareness without your mental commentary about what it is, or where it comes from, or what it means. Let it be what it is, before you turn it into a concept, before you wrap it in language. This is the practice, experiencing before naming, being before thinking, presence before story. Alan Watts taught with such clarity, the menu is not the meal. You do not and cannot eat the word apple written on paper. You eat the actual apple, juice and flesh and sweetness, direct sensory experience. In the same way, you cannot live a concept of life. You cannot experience an idea of experience. You can only live life directly, moment by moment, sensation by sensation, feeling by feeling, being fully present to what is actually happening, rather than what you are thinking about what is happening. Arya learned, through patient practice and the old dancer's guidance, to feel the music first, to let it enter her body and move her from the inside. She stopped rehearsing the names of steps in her mind as she danced, stopped cataloguing and controlling. She let her body respond to sound, to rhythm, to silence, to the space between notes. Her dancing transformed completely, became alive and spontaneous and real and deeply moving. People watched and felt something stir in their own hearts, something wordless and true, because she was no longer performing concepts about dance. She was expressing direct experience, being the dance rather than thinking about dancing. She was present in a way she had never been before. Tonight, as you settle more deeply into rest, practice feeling without naming as much as you can. The sensation of your head on the pillow, do not call it soft or hard, comfortable or uncomfortable. Just feel it, direct sensation. The temperature of the air on your skin, do not label it warm or cool. Just feel it, pure experience. The rhythm of your breath, do not count it or control it or evaluate it. Just feel it, being breathed. Let yourself exist in pure sensation, beneath language, beneath thought, beneath the constant naming that usually mediates your experience. This is where you are most alive, most real, most truly yourself. This is where presence lives, in the space before words. Rest here in direct experience, wordless and whole. The hermit and the falling leaf. Simplicity reveals fullness. High in the mountains, in a place where civilization seemed like a distant dream and nature reigned supreme, lived a hermit named Osho in a small wooden hut he had built with his own hands. He owned almost nothing, had deliberately shed possessions over years like a snake shedding skin. A bowl for eating and begging, a simple robe that had been mended many times, a sleeping mat thin and worn, and a single window that looked out onto a maple tree, ancient and beautiful. People in the valley below thought his life must be lonely and empty and boring, a life of deprivation and lack. They pitied him, this man who had given up everything they valued. But Osho was the happiest person anyone had ever met. His eyes sparkled with quiet joy that seemed to come from some inexhaustible inner spring. His presence was calm and full and deeply peaceful in a way that made others feel peaceful, just being near him. One autumn day, when leaves were turning gold and red, and the air had that particular clarity that comes before winter, a wealthy merchant climbed the mountain to find Osho and ask him the secret of contentment. The merchant had everything by conventional measures, everything society said should make a person happy. A large house filled with beautiful things, fine clothes of silk and wool, abundant food, servants, respect in the village, a successful business. Yet he felt hollow inside, restless and dissatisfied, always wanting more, always feeling like something crucial was missing. He found Osho sitting by his window in the afternoon light, watching a single leaf fall from the maple tree. The leaf drifted slowly through the air, turning and spinning, catching the light, riding invisible currents of wind, finally coming to rest on the ground. Osho watched the entire journey with complete attention, his face soft with wonder, a gentle smile playing at the corners of his mouth. The merchant sat down, confused and somewhat irritated by what seemed like a waste of time. "You have been watching a leaf fall?" he asked, disbelief in his voice. "For how long?" Osho turned to him, eyes bright and fully present. "I do not know how long," he said truthfully. Time disappeared. There was only the leaf, the light, the air, the falling. It was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen, and I have seen it 1,000 times, and each time is the first time. The merchant frowned, his confusion deepening. "But it is just a leaf," he said dismissively. "It is ordinary, common. It happens every day in every season. Thousands of leaves fall, millions of leaves. What is special about watching one ordinary leaf fall?" Osho nodded gently, understanding completely. "That is precisely why you are unhappy," he said with compassion. "You see nothing as special because you see everything as common and ordinary. I see one leaf as a profound miracle because I am fully present for it, because I bring my entire attention to it, because I actually see it rather than dismissing it as just a leaf." This exchange touches the heart of the matter, the core teaching about simplicity and depth of attention. We believe, we are taught, that more will make us happy. More experiences, more possessions, more achievements, more stimulation, more of everything. We accumulate and collect and seek constantly. But happiness and fulfillment do not come from accumulation or quantity. They come from depth of attention, quality of presence. One moment fully experienced, really lived with complete attention and presence, is infinitely more nourishing and satisfying than 1,000 moments half noticed, barely acknowledged, lived on autopilot while thinking about something else. Presence turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. It reveals the infinite richness, the bottomless depth that is hidden in the simple when we actually pay attention. Boredom is not a quality of the moment itself, but a quality of our attention to the moment. When you are not present, when your attention is scattered and shallow, even the most spectacular experiences become dull and unsatisfying. You travel to amazing places and take photos to prove you were there, but you do not really see anything, not deeply. You eat incredible meals at expensive restaurants, but you do not really taste them because you are talking or thinking or scrolling. You are with people you love, precious time that will not come again, but you do not really connect because your mind is elsewhere, planning or worrying or judging. The moment itself is rich with possibility, but your attention is thin and divided and superficial, so you feel empty and keep seeking the next thing, the next hit of novelty. But when you are fully present, when you bring the totality of your attention to something, Even the simplest thing becomes endlessly fascinating and deeply satisfying. A single breath, really felt, can be studied for a lifetime and never become boring. The way light moves across a wall as the sun travels, really witnessed, can hold your complete attention and fill you with wonder. The sound of rain, the texture of wood, the taste of water, when experienced with full presence, rather than dismissed as ordinary, reveal themselves as miracles, as gifts, as doorways into the mystery of existence. When you are truly here, you discover that you are surrounded by miracles every moment. You do not need to go anywhere special or acquire anything special. You only need to wake up to what is already present, already here, already offering itself. Simplicity supports and nurtures presence in profound ways. When your life is cluttered with too much, with endless options and possessions and stimulation and busyness, your attention becomes fragmented, scattered across too many surfaces. You skim everything, diving deep into nothing. You touch everything lightly, but never really make contact with anything. Simplicity clears space, creates the conditions for depth. It allows you to be with one thing fully, not because you have nothing else, not because you are deprived, but because you choose consciously to be here, with this, now, giving it the gift of your full presence. Osho's life was simple by conscious choice, and this is important to understand. He could have lived in the village below. He could have accumulated wealth and possessions. He had that option. But he discovered through his own experience that less is more, that simplicity is richness, that one window is enough when you truly see through it. One tree is enough when you truly know it. Watch it through all seasons. Notice how it changes and how it remains. One moment is enough, more than enough, when you truly live it with complete presence. This is not deprivation or poverty or lack. This is liberation from the tyranny of more, freedom from the endless seeking that never satisfies. Bring your attention now to something utterly simple, the simplest thing available. Your breath, just breathing. No special technique or method, no counting or controlling or trying to breathe better or deeper. Simply notice breathing happening. This most basic and essential process. In, out, in, out. Let yourself be fascinated by it, curious about it. Notice the subtle variations. No two breaths exactly the same. The way each inhale is slightly different in length or depth or quality. The gentle pause at the top, sometimes longer, sometimes barely there. The softening of the exhale, the letting go. This breath, this simple, ordinary, always available breath is a miracle when you really pay attention. It is life itself, the universe breathing you, sustaining you, moment by moment. Can you feel that? Can you let yourself be amazed by something so simple? This is what presence does, what it reveals. It does not add anything to experience or make ordinary things extraordinary by changing them. It reveals what was always there, always extraordinary, but overlooked and dismissed as ordinary. You do not need a more interesting life to be fulfilled. You need to be more interested in your life, more present to it. You do not need more experiences. You need to experience more deeply, more completely. You do not need to go anywhere. You need to arrive where you are, finally, fully. Osho eventually told the merchant, after they had sat together in silence for a while, go home, but go home differently. When you eat, taste one bite fully instead of consuming the whole meal while thinking about business. When you see your family, look at them as if for the first time, really see their faces. When you walk, Feel your feet on the ground, each step its own small miracle. You have everything you need for happiness already. You have this moment. Stop searching outside yourself and start seeing what is here. The merchant bowed, thanked him, and left. As he walked down the mountain path, he noticed for the first time how beautiful each step was, how his foot met the earth, how his body balanced and moved. He had been climbing mountains his whole life, but he realized he had never really walked, never been present for the walking. Now, finally, he was learning. Tonight, let yourself be like Osho. Let one breath be enough. Let this moment be enough. You are enough, exactly as you are. Rest in the profound fullness that is always available in the simple, the ordinary, the now. Stop seeking and start seeing. You have everything you need right here, the messenger of the evening. Slow down to arrive. In a bustling city where noise never ceased and people moved in constant hurried streams, there was a messenger named Kira, whose job was to deliver letters and parcels across town from dawn until dusk. Kira prided herself on speed and efficiency, measuring her worth by how many deliveries she could complete in a day, how fast she could move from one destination to the next. She ran everywhere, never walking when running was possible, always rushing to the next delivery, the next task, the next moment. She was productive and efficient and never wasted a single moment, or so she believed. But Kira was profoundly exhausted, bone-deep tired in a way that sleep no longer relieved. Her body ached constantly, muscles tight and protesting. Her mind raced even when she tried to sleep, reviewing the day and planning tomorrow, never resting. She could not remember the last time she had felt at peace, truly at ease. Life had become an endless race with no finish line. One evening, as the sun began its descent and the sky started painting itself in colors, Kira was making her final delivery to an old temple on the edge of the city. She ran up the temple steps as always, breathless and hurried, ready to hand over the package and rush home to collapse. But at the top of the stairs, something made her stop. The sky was painted in extraordinary shades of orange and pink and violet and gold, colors blending and shifting. The light was soft and golden, bathing everything in warmth. Birds were settling into the trees for the night, their evening songs filling the air. The air itself smelled of jasmine, sweet and almost heartbreaking. It was breathtakingly beautiful, and Kira realized with a shock that pierced her heart that she had never seen it before, never noticed it despite passing this way every single evening. The temple keeper, an elderly woman who moved with the deliberate slowness of deep mindfulness, approached her with a gentle smile. "You run so fast," she said kindly. "Observation without judgment. Have you seen the sunset before?" Kira nodded, confusion and defensiveness rising. "Of course," she said. "I see it every evening. I am here every evening." The woman smiled more deeply, eyes twinkling with understanding. "You see it perhaps," she said, "but do you witness it? You pass by it, but do you receive it? There is a profound difference between being in the presence of something and being present for something. You are always moving so quickly that you are never actually anywhere. You pass through places and moments without ever arriving. This is the crisis of modern life, and it affects most of us to some degree. We are always doing, never simply being, always going, never truly arriving. We fill every single moment with productivity, with movement, with tasks and goals and accomplishments. We measure our worth by how much we do, how busy we are, how fast we move, how much we achieve. But in all this rushing, we miss everything that actually matters. We miss the beauty surrounding us. We miss genuine connection with others. we miss our own lives unfolding moment by precious moment. We are like Kira, running past sunsets we never see. Speed is actually a form of violence against the present moment, and this is worth understanding clearly. When you rush, when you hurry through moments, you are essentially saying this moment is not important. Only the destination matters. Only the goal counts. But there is no final destination where everything will suddenly be perfect and you can finally rest. There is only this step, this breath, this moment. If you are not present for the journey, you will not suddenly be present for some imagined arrival either. You will simply find the next thing to rush toward, and the cycle will continue endlessly, a treadmill that never stops. Presence requires a kind of slowness, not necessarily physical slowness in all circumstances, but mental and emotional slowness, spaciousness. It means you stop multitasking, stop dividing your attention across multiple things simultaneously. You stop thinking 3 steps ahead while barely noticing the current step. You stop letting your mind run faster than your body, racing ahead while leaving the present moment behind. You synchronize, you align, you match your awareness to your actual location in space and time. You are where you are, when you are there, fully and completely. Thich Nhat Hanh developed and taught a practice called walking meditation that embodies this teaching beautifully. You walk slowly, intentionally, feeling each foot lift and move and touch the ground. You breathe consciously, matching breath to steps, perhaps breathing in for 3 steps and out for 3 steps. You are not trying to get anywhere, not rushing to arrive at a destination. You are simply walking, fully present for each step, each breath, each moment. This practice is powerful, not because slow walking is inherently better than fast walking, but because it trains you to be present, to feel your life as you live it. And once you learn presence in slowness, you can bring it to speed as well. Try this now, even though you are resting and not walking. Slow down your breath intentionally, consciously. Breathe in very slowly, counting gently to 4 as you inhale. Hold the breath gently, without strain, for a count of 2. Breathe out even more slowly, counting to 6 as you exhale. Do this several times with full attention. Feel how slowing the breath naturally slows the mind, creates space, opens up room to simply be. Feel how time seems to expand when you are not rushing. You are not in a hurry. There is nowhere to be except here. Nothing to do except breathe. Let yourself arrive fully in this moment. Notice the relief that comes with permission to slow down, to stop rushing for even a few moments. You have been running for so long, pushing yourself, striving and achieving and doing, and what if you stopped just for now? What if you let yourself be still, truly still, not as laziness or unproductivity, but as presence? Not as a break from life so you can go back to rushing, but as a return to life itself, to actually living rather than constantly preparing to live or recovering from living. Kira sat on the temple steps that evening and watched the entire sunset from beginning to end. She did not rush or think about what came next, or worry about wasting time. She simply watched and felt and breathed as the light changed, the colors deepened, the stars began to emerge one by one. It took perhaps 20 minutes of clock time, but in those 20 minutes, she was more alive, more truly present than she had been in years. She was not doing anything by external measures, but she was being everything, being fully human, fully present, fully here. She was finally arriving somewhere after all her running. The temple keeper sat beside her in companionable silence. After a while, she spoke softly. "This is the practice," she said. "Not just watching sunsets, though that is good too. but bringing this quality of presence to all of life. Eating slowly enough to taste. Walking with awareness of walking. Listening fully when someone speaks instead of planning your response. Doing one thing at a time with your whole heart and attention. This is not about being slow for the sake of slowness. This is about being here, fully here. Speed without presence is just noise and exhaustion. Presence, even in speed when necessary, is grace. Tonight, as you rest, let go completely of the need to rush towards sleep, to make it happen, to achieve unconsciousness. You are not trying to get somewhere. You are already here. Let your breath be slow and spacious. Let your thoughts settle like dust after a storm, gradually, naturally, without force. There is no hurry, no deadline, no pressure. You have permission to simply be. The sunset is happening inside you right now, the day releasing into night, light dissolving into rest. Witness it. Be present for it. Let yourself finally arrive where you have always been, but kept rushing past. Here, now, home. The mirror that does not judge. Witness without commentary. In a monastery known throughout the land for the depth of its practice and the wisdom of its teachers, there was a large mirror that hung in the main meditation hall, plain and unframed, simply a perfectly smooth surface that reflected whatever appeared before it. A visiting student, curious about everything and questioning all the temple's practices, asked the abbot one day, "Why is there a mirror in the meditation hall? It seems unusual, out of place. What purpose does it serve?" The abbot replied simply, "It is the greatest teacher in this monastery, more valuable than all the books in our library." The student looked puzzled, almost offended on behalf of the human teachers. What does it teach? The abbot gestured for the student to stand before the mirror and look at himself. "Look at yourself in the mirror," the abbot instructed, "and tell me what you see." The student looked at his reflection, and immediately the familiar process of judgment and commentary began, automatic and relentless. "I see my hair is messy and unkempt," he said. "I look tired, dark circles under my eyes. I should have worn different robes. These look rumpled. My posture is poor. I need to meditate more because I still look tense and worried. I should be further along the path by now." The abbot nodded, listening to this cascade of judgment. "Now look at the mirror itself," he said. "Does the mirror say any of these things? Does it judge you as messy or tired or inadequate? Does it compare you to how you should be?" The student paused, really looking at the mirror, rather than just seeing his reflection. "No," he said slowly, understanding beginning to dawn. "The mirror just reflects. It shows what is without adding anything, without judging anything." "Exactly," said the abbot. "The mirror receives your image without commentary, without judgment, without story or interpretation. It simply reflects perfectly, neutrally, spaciously. This is how you must learn to witness your own experience, with this quality of non-judgmental awareness." This teaching points to one of the most liberating practices in all of meditation and mindfulness: witnessing without judgment, observing without adding commentary, seeing what is present without immediately layering on your opinions, your preferences, your stories about what it means or whether it should be here. The mirror does not say, "I like this reflection, I do not like that one." It does not reject or cling. It simply reflects with perfect neutrality, perfect spaciousness, perfect presence, allowing all things to appear and disappear without resistance. You have a witness inside you, a capacity for awareness that can observe thoughts, emotions, sensations, and experiences without being completely swept away by them or identified with them. This is sometimes called witness consciousness, or the observing self. and it is one of the most important discoveries you can make. It is the part of you that can notice and say, I am thinking, I am feeling angry, I am experiencing tightness in my chest. It sees these phenomena, these passing events, but it is not identical with them. It is the space in which they appear, the awareness that knows them, but it is not the things themselves. Most of the time, most of us live completely identified with the contents of our experience, believing we are our thoughts and emotions and sensations. We are the anger when anger arises. We are the worry when worry appears. We are the pain when pain is present. But this identification, while it feels total and convincing, is not actually true. You are not the anger. You are the awareness that knows anger is present, that registers its arising. You are not the worry. You are the consciousness in which worry appears like a cloud in the sky. You are not the pain. You are the spacious awareness that holds pain without being defined or destroyed by it. When you remember this, when you shift from identification to witnessing, everything changes. You are no longer at the mercy of your experience. You are the vast, unchanging space in which experience happens. This does not mean you become cold or detached or emotionally disconnected, and this is a common misunderstanding worth clarifying. Witnessing is not dissociation or disconnection. It is clear seeing, clear knowing. You can witness sadness with great compassion and tenderness. You can observe joy with full participation and celebration. But you do not lose yourself in it. Do not mistake yourself for it. You remain the mirror. You reflect without distortion. You hold without grasping. You allow without resisting. You are present to the experience, but not collapsed into it. Practice this right now with whatever is present in your awareness. Notice what is here without judging it as good or bad, wanted or unwanted. Perhaps there is a thought about tomorrow, some plan or worry. Simply notice it. Do not try to change it, make it stop, or indulge it further. Simply say silently, I am aware of a thought about tomorrow. Thinking is happening. Perhaps there is a sensation of tiredness somewhere in your body. Notice it without trying to fix it or resist it. Tiredness is present. Perhaps there is a sound from outside, near or far. Sound is arising. You are the one who is aware of all this. You are the mirror reflecting, the space holding, the witness seeing. This is who you really are beneath all the changing phenomena. Ramana Maharshi, one of the great sages of recent history, spent much of his teaching pointing directly to this witness, this awareness that we are beneath all that we experience. He would ask people again and again, who am I? Not who do I think I am, not what roles I play or stories I tell about myself, but who is the one who is aware of all this? When you ask this question sincerely and look for the answer not in thought, but in direct experience, you discover something profound. You are not your thoughts because you can observe them. You are not your emotions because you can witness them. You are not your body because you are aware of it. You are the awareness itself, the consciousness in which all these things appear, pure and clear and unchanging, like a mirror that reflects all but is touched by none. This practice creates immense space and freedom inside you. When you are completely identified with your thoughts, believing you are your thoughts, a fearful thought feels overwhelming, total, defining. But when you witness the thought, when you see it as a phenomenon arising in the space of awareness, you recognize it is just a thought, temporary and passing, arising and dissolving in the vast space of your consciousness. It has no more power over you than a cloud has over the sky that holds it. You can observe it with interest, learn from it if it has something valuable to teach, and let it go on its way without being swept away by it. Equanimity is born from witnessing. this quality of balanced presence. Equanimity does not mean you do not care or become emotionally flat or indifferent. It means you are not thrown off balance by the constantly changing weather of experience. You remain steady, like the mirror, no matter what appears before you. Pleasant experiences come, and you witness them with appreciation, but without clinging or trying desperately to make them stay. Unpleasant experiences come, and you witness them with compassion but without aversion or desperate attempts to make them go away. You are not trying to curate your experience, to accept only the good and reject the difficult. You are simply present for all of it, with the spacious acceptance of a mirror that reflects everything. The student stood before the mirror for a long time that day, practicing seeing without judging, observing without the constant commentary that usually ran through his mind. At first it was difficult, almost impossible. The mind kept wanting to comment, to evaluate, to fix or improve or explain. But gradually, with patient practice, he learned to simply see, face, robe, light, reflection, breath, no story added, just what is. And he felt a deep peace wash over him, a relief so profound it brought tears to his eyes. He understood finally that he did not need to change to be acceptable, did not need to become someone different to be worthy of love or peace. He only needed to be seen clearly, without the distortion of constant judgment. And he could offer this same gift, this same clear seeing, to himself. He could be the mirror for his own experience. Tonight, practice being the mirror for your own experience with great patience and self-compassion. Whatever arises in your awareness, thoughts of the day, physical sensations, emotions, sounds near or far, let them appear in the mirror of your awareness without judgment. Do not reject anything. Do not cling to anything. Simply reflect. Simply see clearly. Simply allow. You are not the contents of your experience. You are the space in which experience appears. You are the witness, the mirror, the awareness. Rest as this spacious presence, clear and still, holding all things lightly, attached to nothing, rejecting nothing, free in your essential nature. The awakening before sleep. Presence continues in all states. In a mountain monastery where the practice was deep and continuous, there lived an old monk named Jiun who was revered throughout the community for his constant awareness, his unbroken mindfulness that seemed to continue from waking through sleeping and back to waking. Students noticed that he seemed to be practicing every single moment of the day and night, from the first moment of waking before dawn until the last moment before sleep. But what puzzled them most, what they could not understand, was his practice right before sleep. Each night, without fail, June would sit on the edge of his simple mat, close his eyes, and remain completely still for several minutes before lying down. His face was peaceful but alert, present but relaxed. A young monk named Sora, unable to contain his curiosity any longer, finally asked, "Master, what are you doing before you sleep each night? Are you meditating? Is this a special practice we should learn?" June opened his eyes slowly and smiled with gentle warmth. "I am practicing the transition," he said simply. "Most people fall asleep unconsciously," he explained. They are thinking or worrying or planning, caught in the stream of mental activity, and then suddenly they are gone, lost in unconsciousness. They miss the most sacred threshold, the doorway between states. They miss this profound moment of transition. I practice staying present as the body moves toward rest, as consciousness shifts and softens. I watch awareness itself changing, transforming. I witness the mind becoming quieter, thoughts slowing and spacing out. I honor the passage from waking to sleeping as a profound and holy moment. not something to rush through or ignore, but something worthy of my full presence and attention. Sora was intrigued, fascinated by this perspective. He had never thought of falling asleep as something to be present for, as a practice or an opportunity for awareness. He had always seen sleep as the end of practice, the moment when consciousness and mindfulness ceased, when awareness turned off like a light switch. But June was teaching something radically different. Presence does not stop when you close your eyes. Awareness does not end when sleep begins. There is a continuity of consciousness that can be cultivated and maintained, a thread of awareness that can remain even as you surrender to rest and eventually to sleep. This teaching is found in many contemplative traditions across the world. Tibetan Buddhists practice what they call dream yoga, maintaining awareness through the transition into sleep and even within dreams themselves, recognizing dreams as dreams while still dreaming. This is considered advanced practice, requiring years of dedication, but the foundation is simple and accessible to anyone. Be present for the journey into sleep. Do not abandon yourself. Do not check out mentally the moment your head touches the pillow. Stay with yourself. Witness the softening and releasing. Honor the profound transition from waking consciousness to sleep. Most of us resist sleep even as we desperately crave it, and this resistance keeps us awake. We lie down exhausted, but the mind keeps working, keeps spinning. We review the day compulsively, replaying conversations and analyzing interactions. We plan tomorrow anxiously, rehearsing what we need to do and say. We worry about not falling asleep fast enough, creating stress about the very rest we seek. All this mental activity, all this resistance and control, prevents the natural unfolding of sleep. But when you practice presence, when you witness without trying to control or force, sleep comes naturally in its own perfect timing. You are not forcing it or fighting it. You are simply here, allowing the body's deep wisdom to guide you into rest when you are ready. Let us practice this together right now, bringing sacred attention to this very moment. You are already resting, already in a position conducive to sleep, but bring a quality of conscious presence to this moment. Notice your body, really feel it. Feel the weight of your entire body sinking into whatever surface supports you, surrendering to gravity, being held. Feel the softness and relaxation of your muscles as they release their grip, their holding. Notice your breath, slower now than during the day, deeper, softer, more spacious. You are not making this happen through effort. This relaxation, this slowing, is happening by itself. Your body knows exactly how to rest. Your only job, your only practice, is to witness it, to be present for it, to honor it with your attention. As thoughts arise, and they will continue to arise, do not fight them or see them as problems to solve or obstacles to overcome. Simply notice them as you would notice clouds passing in the sky. Thought about tomorrow, thought about today, planning, remembering, judging, fantasizing. Let each thought be like a gentle wave arising and dissolving in the ocean of your awareness. You do not need to follow the thoughts, do not need to engage with them or think them through to some resolution. Just witness. Just be. The mind will settle naturally when it is ready, like muddy water becoming clear when left undisturbed. Your presence, your gentle witnessing without interference, supports this natural settling. Jack Cornfield, a beloved Western meditation teacher, teaches that in the end just 3 things matter in how we live our lives: how well we have lived, how well we have loved, and how well we have learned to let go. This moment before sleep, this threshold you cross every single night, is a profound practice of letting go of the day and all that happened, letting go of control and the illusion that you can manage everything. Letting go of the need to be anywhere other than here, anyone other than who you are. You are practicing a small death every night, the daily death of the ego, the daily surrender into not knowing, into mystery, into trust. This is not something to fear or avoid. This is liberation itself, practiced nightly. June would often say to his students, if you can remain aware as you fall asleep, if you can witness this transition consciously, you are practicing for the great transition that will come eventually to all of us. Sleep is like death in important ways. We release our hold on the waking world and all its concerns. We let go of control completely. We trust the process, surrender to something larger than our small self. If we can do this consciously with sleep each night, we prepare ourselves to do this consciously with death when the time comes. This is not morbid thinking. This is profound wisdom. This is living fully by learning to release fully. Feel yourself now at this threshold, this sacred doorway. You are here, aware, present, conscious. And also, simultaneously, you are softening, releasing, allowing sleep to approach in its own timing. You are not forcing it to come or resisting its coming. You are simply here, witnessing this sacred transition. Your breath continues, faithful and steady. Your heart continues its ancient rhythm. Awareness continues, even as it shifts into a different mode, even as it transforms. You are safe. You are held by something larger than yourself. You are exactly where you need to be. As the body moves deeper into rest, as relaxation deepens and consciousness begins its shift towards sleep, let your awareness remain gentle and spacious, like the sky that holds all weather without effort. Like Jiyun, honor this passage, this transition. This is not the end of your practice for the day. This is your practice, being present for life in all its forms and states. Being awake includes being conscious of the movement towards sleep. You are not abandoning yourself. You are accompanying yourself home, staying present, witnessing with love and care. And when sleep finally comes, whether you are aware of the exact moment or not, let it come. You will be there, in some way, aware or not, and that is perfect. That is enough. Rest now, with presence, with peace, with profound trust in the wisdom of letting go. You are here, and that simple fact is profound. In this moment, in this breath, in this body that has carried you faithfully through this entire life, you are here. That is all you have ever needed to be, all you ever will need to be. Not perfect, not enlightened, not somewhere else or someone else. Just here, just now, just this. And here is enough, more than enough. Here is everything. Tonight we have walked together through stories and teachings, through practices and reflections, through the wisdom of those who walked this path before us. But none of it matters, none of it helps you if you do not bring it here, to this single, simple, sacred moment where you actually live. All the wisdom in all the books, all the teachings from all the masters, cannot help you if you are not present to receive them, present to live them. And all the presence in the world, all the peace and freedom and awakening you seek, is available to you right now, right here, in the feeling of your breath moving, in the weight of your body resting, in the softness of this moment offering itself to you without condition or demand. You do not need to remember everything you heard tonight. Do not need to carry it all with you, or feel pressure to practice perfectly. You only need to remember one thing, and this one thing contains everything. Come back. When you are lost in the past, reliving what is finished, come back to now. When you are worried about the future, rehearsing what has not happened, come back to this breath. When you are tangled in thoughts, identified with the weather of your mind, come back to the body, to sensation, to the simple fact of being here. This is the only practice, the whole path condensed into 2 words. Come back to breath, come back to body, come back to now, again and again and again. Presence is not something you achieve once and then possess forever like a trophy. It is something you return to again and again, 1,000 times each day, 10,000 times in a lifetime. And each return, each moment of remembering and coming back is a victory, is awakening itself. You are not failing when you wander away into thought or distraction. You are being human, and the wandering is natural, inevitable, part of the process. You are practicing, truly practicing, when you notice the wandering and come back, when you recognize you were lost and find your way home again. Be gentle with yourself, infinitely gentle. The path is not about perfection or never wandering. It is about the return, again and again, with compassion for yourself. Feel your body now, in this moment, completely relaxed, completely supported by what holds you. You have done all you needed to do today. You have lived, you have breathed, you have been present even if only for brief moments. And that is enough. You are enough, exactly as you are, with all your imperfections and incompleteness. Let yourself rest in this deep knowing. There is nothing left to prove, nothing you need to become, no one you need to impress. You are already whole, already here, already home. As sleep comes to you tonight, and it will come in its own perfect timing, let it be a friend, not an enemy. Let it be a gentle wave that carries you into deep rest, into the mystery of letting go. You do not need to control it or force it or make it happen. Simply allow it. Trust your body's ancient wisdom. Trust the process that has put you to sleep every night of your life. You have practiced presence tonight, brought your awareness to this moment again and again. Now practice surrender, the other half of the teaching. Let go, release, rest completely. If these words have touched something in you, if this space has offered you even a moment of peace or recognition or homecoming, know that it is here whenever you need it, whenever you want to return. This is your sanctuary, your refuge from the noise and rush of the world. You can come back here anytime you need rest, guidance, wisdom, or simply a reminder that you are not alone in this practice of being human. If you would like to keep this space close, to be able to find your way back easily, please subscribe to this channel. But whether you return here or not, whether you subscribe or not, carry this truth with you always, written on your heart. Presence is always available because now is always here. You are always already home. You never left. You only forgot, and now you are remembering. Thank you for being here tonight, for your breath, for your attention, for your willingness to practice presence with me. Thank you for being exactly who you are. You are a miracle walking, a universe experiencing itself, consciousness becoming aware of consciousness. This moment is a miracle, sacred and unrepeatable. Sleep itself is a miracle. This daily surrender, this practice of letting go and trusting. Let yourself sink into this miracle now with gratitude and wonder. Breathe softly, slowly, spaciously. Let your eyes remain closed, resting. Let your body be completely heavy and warm and soft, surrendering its weight. Let your mind drift like clouds across an evening sky, thoughts becoming fewer, spaces between them growing wider. There is nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to become. You are exactly where you belong. Rest now, deeply and completely. You have earned this rest. You deserve this peace. Let sleep come when it comes. And when it does, go gently, peacefully, gratefully into the healing darkness of the night. Good night, dear friend. May you rest deeply and well. May you wake refreshed and renewed. May you remember tomorrow, when the world calls you back to activity, that presence is always here, always available, always enough. You are enough. Now is enough. Rest in this truth. Rest in this peace. Rest